Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I am your extremely tired host, Ranting Monkey. Hope you guys are well. Hope you're having a good day out there. I've had a rough one, y'all. Had a rough one. I only have about like 10% movement in my shoulder before it starts feeling like something's ripping. And it's been a rough day with that. You know how much you move your shoulder in a day? Huh. It also makes it very hard to sleep because I roll in my sleep. And that's why we're awake right now talking. But otherwise, I'm well. I'm in a good mood. It was a nice day out today. Michigan is finally remembering that spring is here, and we still got rain, but that came later, and it was beautiful out today. Just nice. I like a nice day, a nice sunny day. Would have been more fun to enjoy without the damn shoulder, but I'm not going to bitch too much. Hey, Nets, how you doing, sweetie? Oh boy, do we have some stuff to talk about. I'm just going to tell you right now, I do not know how long this is going to go. I really am tired. I've been averaging about 3.5 hours of sleep since last Friday, and it's starting to catch up to me. Monkey, thoughts on Nick getting back on Twitter? Fuck. I'm fine with Fuentes getting back on Twitter. Um, I don't think people like him should be hidden. I think people like him should be mocked endlessly. I think he should just be laughed at. People should point and never stop giggling at what a weird little closeted homosexual he is. I don't care that he's gay. I just care that he doesn't want to admit it. Just suck a dick, Nikki. You'll feel better. It really will. It'll make you feel better. You'll be like, oh, this is who I was born to be. And then you'll start, listening to Lady Gaga and nobody will care about you anymore. But yeah, Nikki Fuentes, did they actually let him back on? I saw they were thinking about it. I didn't know if he actually made it back on the platform. Unless you have somebody who's using the platform to spread illegal shit. I don't care about hate speech. I don't. If somebody wants to go on there and say horribly racist shit, they should be allowed to. They should just, have to listen to the rest of us tell them what fucking idiots they are. I don't think shutting people down is the answer. Again, different if we're talking about criminal behavior, but otherwise, I mean, I'm okay with all of the voices out there as long as I have a voice to respond to it. So that's all my take is on that. If you're asking me what I think of Nick Fuentes, I think he's a fucking douchebag. I think he's a moron, and the people who follow him are I don't want to say this. How about just as gay as he is? I mean, these are people who are they believe in a white ethno state following a Mexican. Can we just throw that out there? Well, we were for the white race needs a place free of all the others. That would exclude you, Nikki. And all the idiots who follow him who don't get that just make me laugh. So yeah, let that dumbass on there. Maybe we'll have an interaction. Anyway, let's get to the top story of the night. I don't know why I'm calling this a story. Let's back this video up. We are on the we're on the old AT&T because, as I said, rain. But we'll just let this video roll a few times so y'all can watch it too. We will pause at a certain point. The first time we watch it through here, Joe Biden is going out to Marine One today, and this happens. I have the volume off. Maybe we'll just keep it really low. Anytime the president's going to Marine One, the sound of the helicopter just drives me insane. So reporters are yelling questions, and Biden stops and squats a little bit. The best comment I saw on this was anybody with a toddler knows what Joe Biden's doing here. And yeah, the president of the United States, while walking through Marine One, cut that all the way off because I'm talking. He stops and squats a little bit to squeeze out a dookie. Even Jill's like, ah, fuck, he did it again. Now I gotta wipe his ass. The president of the United States, dookieing in his pants. That's where we're at. When it was the Pope thing, that's just conjecture, and I guess technically this is conjecture too. Although I've never seen him stop and squat like that before. Maybe he was startled, and that's his fight or flight response is to squat a little bit like he's pooping. Uh, if the Hilo bothers you on the vid, you should hear how loud they are inside. Yeah, I've never been inside one. I've been right next to one. My dad was on what they called LPH ships. He was on the Tripoli and the Guadalcanal, and those are marine transports. But they also have they're mostly when it comes they have some they can use like the vertical takeoff and landing craft that we used to have. I don't know if the military still uses those. They could land on his ship, but mostly it was a helicopter carrier. So lots of the times when we were on the ship, the helicopters would take off, and those fucking things are loud as shit. Anyway, I'm gonna pause this because it keeps doing that blink between the replay, and it's gonna give me a seizure here. This is our president, man. This is our president. It's not bad enough that he doesn't even know where he is half the time. Now he's shitting himself in the middle of the White House. Isn't that some kind of biological warfare? You can't be shitting on the White House grounds, Joe. The Secret Service should have tackled him, but I wouldn't because, I wouldn't want poop on me. This is the president of the United States. And there's a good chance he'll be president for, well, however many years he can live of the next 4. I know there's a lot of Trumpians out there like, no, it couldn't happen. That's what y'all told me in 2020. Now, I'm not saying Joe will win the election. I'm just saying he'll be president again. So let's not get into that argument. President of the United States shitting himself. With the Pope story, we didn't have to see it, We didn't have to know it was actually happening. It could just be some jokes. It could have just been somebody like, yeah, he pooped himself. Ha ha. Now he's squatting. You think he'll do this during the debate if they have one? Like he'll be asked a question and he'll just have to stop and go, ugh. What were you saying? Hope they put plastic on the seats. I have a feeling this man's wearing a diaper. Let's be honest. He's what, 84? He's 84 years old and has dementia. Even if he doesn't have problems with his bowel, just forgetting to go to the bathroom could be an issue. So we've gone to defecation for. Stop it. I didn't really bring this up just to rip on Joe for that. I just want to point that out as we read his tweet from earlier today, because he's talking about the election, don't you know? And what's most important to the Democrats this election? Do you guys know? It's abortion. It's abortion. That's what the Democrats are all about for this election. And just as a little bit of proof of that, I'm going to read the tweet. We're just going to leave him shitting on the screen. I'll read the tweet. It says, this November, voters are going to teach Donald Trump a valuable lesson. Don't mess with women in America. Sorry, women of America. Don't mess with women. Now, we all know he's not the one writing his tweets. Let's just be honest about that. But I was once again just slapped in the face with the stupidity of this. If we go back to 2016, and it actually probably starts around 2014, they keep pushing this idea of the year of the woman. Do you guys remember that? And they don't finally get to say year of the woman until 2018, when a whole bunch of new women are elected to Congress. This is when the squad comes in and a few others and like, look, we're going to dress like the Klan to show that we're women. And that became the year of the woman. They finally, yes, we have our year of the woman. And then immediately they started basically telling you women, you don't matter, except when it comes to scraping little Johnny out of your uterus. Then suddenly they care. That's where they really care about, hey, you cannot tell this woman she can't scrape that baby out. It's not even a baby. It's a parasitic clump of cells. Now, if that same woman goes into a bathroom and there's a guy wandering around with his dick out, and she's like, I don't want him in here. They'd be like, but he's wearing a wig. He's a chick. You get to have your uterus scraped out. You don't get to tell these men they're not women. Your daughter who lost a scholarship because she placed 4th behind 3 boys? Fuck her. She can still have an abortion. She just doesn't get that free ride to college. Yeah. It's amazing to me that women are falling for this because there are a bunch of them because they think this is 50 years of propaganda. 50 years of propaganda that you have the right to your abortion. It's a human right. It's a fundamental right. It's not a fundamental right. It's not. You can get it done in places. I disagree with that, but it can be done, but that doesn't make it a right. You have a couple of states that have passed it as a right, and if you live in those states, I suppose you do, but on the national level, you sure as fuck don't. There's no right to abortion, but that's what they're told. And anything that makes women have to be more responsible wayside. And no, how dare you? We should get to have abortions if we want to have abortions. Is that really the only issue that matters to women? Your children are being made stupider. They're being touched by their teachers. They're being told that they're born in the wrong bodies. They're being mutilated, drugged unnecessarily. Why is the only thing you care about is scraping out that uterus? You're not going to be Stevie Nicks. You're not going to get that multi-billion-dollar career because you scraped out a kid. And I feel like this is a good time to bring it up because I did have this discussion with a little liar over on Twitter the other day. If it's your body and your choice, right? It's your body. It's my body, my choice. How come it's not my body, my choice when it comes to child support? Do you know who dies most often in work accidents? It's men. You're being told you have to spend 9 months. It's my body. I'm the one that's got to go through that 9 months of hell. And then I got to go through 18 years of using my body to pay for a kid I don't want. Why is that fair? Yeah, this whole bullshit about, oh, that we just don't have the same reproductive freedoms. You're right. We don't. Because my ass could go to jail for not paying child support. You can just go to a different state and get the baby scraped out. You get to walk away from the responsibility. Men are completely at the mercy of women when it comes to that. We get no say. No say. My body, your wallet. Damn right, Faithless. Now, for the record, I think you should have to pay child support. But I also think that you shouldn't be able to abort your child. I think people should be held responsible in both cases. But the only time responsibility matters in pregnancy is when we're putting the responsibility on men. Then it's suddenly, you shouldn't have splooged in me. You shouldn't have let me. Unit, thank you. They aren't touched by the teachers, but the angels. Well, it depends because they kill them sometimes too. There was a horrible story that came out earlier today that I read about this horrible daycare worker. Killed a little girl because she was crying. Yeah. I don't know how you fix that. You just kill them back, I guess. Only responsibility is on men in all cases. It really is. We treat women like children. We treat not just children, dumb children. And if you know how liberals, commies, Hollywood types treat children, kind of explains all the sex they have with them. Speaking of which, there was a teacher who was just busted with a fifth grader. A fifth grade. Do you guys understand how young a fifth grader is? If you're not sure, when somebody tells you how old, they're telling you a child is in this grade or that grade. Any grade the child's in the United States at least, just add 5 to it, and that'll give you a close estimation of their age. Because when you come into school, we mostly start kindergarten in either 4 or 5 years old. So when it comes to the fifth grade thing, you just add 4 or 5 years, typically just 5. This is a 10-year-old boy. She was busted making out with a 10-year-old boy. Y'all want to see her? You want to see fucking Fruit Loop? Oh, Jack, I'm gonna wait just a second to bring you in because I just said, do you want to see this fucking Fruit Loop? And I don't want to put you on the screen before I put the Fruit Loop on the screen because then it looks like I'm calling you one. Hi, Jack.
Hello.
You like how I protect your reputation like that?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
How you doing, man?
Don't ask.
I understand. Probably better than the lady on the screen.
Maybe. If you hear my phone ring, I have to drop out immediately.
Fair enough, dude. I understand. The lady on the screen, I don't care about her name, and I'm not going to look it up. She was just busted fooling around with a 10-year-old boy, a fifth
Yep.
grader, her student.
But
You know how
what's
she got?
smarter than a fifth grader?
Apparently not, because she got caught.
Oh yeah.
The way they got caught is the dad went through the little boy's phone. Parents, go through your children's phones. But dad found messages from her talking about how much she liked kissing him and when he touched her. This is a 10-year-old. A 10-year-old. What, as a 24-year-old woman, are you seeing in a 10-year-old boy that gets your knickers wet? What's making you moist in the middle about a 10-year-old boy?
Yeah, it's all the sticky fingers, Legos, and Pokemon.
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe she's just a big Pokemon fan, and he had a rare Charizard card.
Yeah,
And she was
they
like,
played
"Ooh."
Truth or Dare so she could get her hands on it.
The
She's playing with this Charizard.
the story the story that this picture comes from is actually related to her husband. Well, not husband, fiance, former fiance now. Says her former fiance has declared the wedding is off.
I would hope so.
Right?
I mean, she
What?
got caught like a couple days before their wedding, but I mean,
Now, if he was a Hollywood producer, I might expect a different answer. But it's just a normal person, yeah, the wedding should be off in every other instance.
as opposed to like, we're going to work it out.
Yeah.
No, dude, it was a 10 to 11-year-old boy.
But 9 to 10, actually.
Oh, 9 to 10?
9 to
That's
10.
even worse somehow.
Yeah.
We're going to make out. Ew. What's
It's
wrong
straight
with you?
pedophilia, man. This is a prepubescent boy.
Yeah.
But the lady's 24, and it just gives more credence to my idea that we're seeing this more and more from these female teachers because they are trying to make up for not being popular in high school. They suddenly have all of the attention on them. Everybody has to pay attention. They're no longer that nerdy chick nobody paid attention to. And look at her, that was her. Let's be real. The only saving grace in this, I guess, is that as far as we know, they didn't have intercourse. So it didn't progress that far. It progressed far enough that, all the wood chipper jokes apply. She's straight up a pedophile.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the story's still young, too.
Yeah. Luckily, this kid hadn't gone through like precocious puberty and knocked her up.
Again, the story is still young.
I can't believe this shit keeps happening. And I saw a discussion. Somebody asked, "Is this new or has this been happening?" And I'm like, "No, it's rather new." Has it happened before? Sure, but this really starts becoming okay with Mary Kay Letourneau. That fucking horrible bitch who got knocked up by a 13-year-old, and People magazine treated her like they were Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Like star-crossed lovers. He's 13. Happily, she's dead now. Are we allowed to say that? She's a pedophile. Fuck her.
Yeah,
I'm glad she's dead.
Yeah, they really romanticize those two, and there's already a pass for women doing this shit for some reason.
Let me say this. I don't often root for cancer, but in Mary Kay Letourneau's case, I may have made an exception. But Jack, I think it's more than that too. Because I don't know about your teachers, but a teacher of mine, a female teacher of mine, wearing jeans was weird.
It was very uncommon. Mostly they wore dresses or long skirts.
Yep.
Well, most of ours were pretty old too. We had a few younger ones, but they didn't wear anything sexy or revealing.
No. Maybe slacks, but not I mean, these women today are wearing, like, tight jeans and cleavage shirts to school.
Yeah, I think there were a couple of the younger ones that wore the blue jeans, but even that was fairly modest by today's standards. It wasn't like tight fitting anythings, and they
Not we
definitely
can
didn't wear
s
mini skirts.
yeah, now we can see your labia tight,
Yeah, yeah,
but that's what it is these days, and we have this thing going on where I get to be myself. We saw the videos of them talking with their children about their love lives. Guess who called me today? Remember that fucking video?
yeah. That was totally verboten when we were young.
She
You'd
was
have been
talking
dragged to the principal's office immediately for that shit.
yeah, what was that, a 3rd or 4th grade class?
Yeah, oh yeah, at the most.
And the kids all yelled out her boyfriend,
Yeah, her
like
ex-boyfriend.
ex-boyfriend, yeah. Why do they know anything at all about they're not your friends. And that's another thing, like, oh, this is our community. These are my kids. These are my friends. I love these children. You guys are taking it a little too far with how you're dealing with these people. You're basically inviting pedophiles into education.
Oh, absolutely. They're advertising the kids are fair game these days. Um,
Come
there's
on in.
definitely a sickness going around, and they're encouraging this sort of perversity
Why would you want your 5th graders or 3rd graders or even 12th graders to be your friends?
because
Do
they're a
you
bunch
not
of
have any?
jerks. Well, this lady was engaged, so who knows what's going on there?
I just don't understand. Well, and not her specifically. I'm talking about in general, like these TikTok teachers we see all the time. They came up to me and they told me how brave I was for coming out as lesbian. Why does that? Why are you looking for validation from fucking children?
Yeah, especially with like the non-binary weirdos. There's something really deeply unsettling about some of those people.
Understatements that people stopped growing up years ago. You're right. I mean, you're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
unfortunately, that's very true.
Look at that chick we saw crying because she had to work at Starbucks.
Yeah,
I I had to do an 8-hour shift. I must fucking suck. Try 12 hours in the machine shop with
yeah.
no air conditioning in summer.
Have you considered how hard it is to be a podcaster?
I know,
Like,
right?
oh, shit.
That's been going on for a while now. I mean, it really has. But the instances of these female teachers touching their kids, that is really on the uptick.
Yeah, it's definitely a disturbing trend that we need to stop. At
It's
least people are starting to recognize that there is a problem with teachers, but it's not doing much good.
fucking frosted. Thank you so much, my friend. He says they canceled the wedding. Chuck E. Cheese was mad.
No refunds.
No refund. Sorry. Um, yeah, I just don't get it. But it's to the point now, Jack, that if I see a story about a teacher touching a child and it turns out it was a male, I'm shocked.
Yeah, I'm actually more shocked that it's a dude this time.
Yeah. That used to be the thing. I mean, like some high school teacher was knocking up a cheerleader or something.
Yeah,
And now it's female teachers are feeling up their 5th graders. For the record, I would have banged my 5th grade teacher, but I was 10 and she was smart.
yeah,
She,
and she was an adult. I wouldn't have, by the way, because my fifth grade teacher was not attractive.
my 5th grade teacher was a cute blonde. I had two. One was an okay blonde, and then the other one, we had what they called AM and PM classes, which was weird because they weren't separated at noon. But your AM and your PM classes, and my PM teacher, oh, she was cute as shit. I still have a crush on her. She's probably old and nasty now.
Well, yeah,
She's
these days she may be in prison already.
or so. God, yeah, she's old and wrinkly. Ooh, I just thought all my teachers that used to be cute are probably old now.
Yep.
Damn. So am I. But nobody wants to fuck me. So anyway, hopefully, I wonder if any of my teachers wanted me.
Uh, you gonna walk over to their house with a picture of you like Mac and be like, "Look at this
Remember
kid.
me?
What was wrong with him? Why didn't you want to touch him?"
Yeah, Mac did that. Mr. Garrison did it with his with his dad not molesting him. Are
Yeah,
we allowed to make those kind of jokes?
not anymore. No, it offends the teachers union.
What kind of question is that? It's called a joke, man. Relax, relax. All right, let's see what else. Oh, Jack, you know how good things are going in Canada right now?
So good that people are volunteering to die.
Things are going so good in Canada that they are contemplating a $25,000 departure penalty if you want to leave the country.
Hey, at least they're not shooting you at Checkpoint Charlie yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yet. Yeah, if there's and that is along with a doubling of the existing departure tax.
Wow.
So if you live in Canada and hate what's going on in Canada, in order to leave, you have to pay. They're not yet. This is just in the planning phases. You have to pay $25,000 plus a double tax for leaving. Have you thought about running your country better? Have you
No.
considered improving your economy and not screwing everybody over? Any of this? None of that. He was desperate for votes, Monkey, and he's a wacko. Justin is. Well, he is a wacko, but the notion of charging somebody 25 grand to leave your country, that's weird, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
You're not far from shooting him for trying to leave.
You're a lot closer to shooting them than not shooting them.
It's just fucking weird, man. Just make a better country. Stop screwing over the one you have. You should
Look,
not.
he's constantly being forced to double down on his nonsense ever since the truckers convoy. So this
You
doesn't surprise me too much.
you shouldn't have to blackmail people into staying into your country. We can't keep people the fuck out, and they're like, no, you can't leave.
Well, maybe we should be funneling them directly up. Be like, America, this way. And we just keep moving them up.
We're not really gonna read this story. We're just gonna mock it a little bit because it's funny to me. It's an opinion by Paul Haga. I think is how you say his name. Haaga.
No idea.
Defunding NPR would impact 247 members operating more than 1,000 stations and would harm our democracy.
Oh.
Da, da, da. So we had the big NPR thing blow up, 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
Where a guy who worked at NPR for, I think it was 25 years. At least 20. I don't remember the exact number. He came out and he wrote a story about how fucking lefty his lefty friends are. He's a lefty as well.
Of course.
But his colleagues working there at NPR are so lefty, even he's like, Jesus fucking Christ, guys. Like, can we rein this back a little bit?
No.
And the new CEO there at NPR, she came out, having been there all of 3 weeks, and attacked the guy and put him on leave for how dare he say that their coverage is bullshit.
Yeah, that sounds right. That's typical commie attitude.
Okay. Getting rid of NPR would not hurt our democracy. Can we just point out that, I'm going to put that on the screen, that harming the democracy is the last thing they throw in there? That's where their priorities are, is employing people and then democracy.
That sounds right.
That's how much they care about that democracy. Thank you so much, Corey. Can we exchange our illegals for Canadians that want to leave? No, and I'll tell you why. Because most of those Canadians who want to leave are going to go to other countries and fuck them up too. It's the same reason people shouldn't be allowed to leave California for other states. You know, everybody's leaving California to go to Texas. That's not a good thing for Texas, because they're going to go to Texas and they're going to do what they're doing in Austin, and they're going to try to turn it into California. So I hear you.
So you're comparing the Canadians to the Palestinians?
Yes, I am.
Sorry, Canadian listeners. Monkey hates you.
What we can do is we'll have a vetting process where I'll decide which Canadians can come. Because otherwise, no. I'm not just blanketly taking Canadians. They voted in Trudeau.
That's true. The decision making's been corrupted.
Yep. Anyway, so make them compete in the public sector. Talking about NPR, I would agree.
Yeah,
and that won't work for them because there's already a shit ton of lefty organizations.
And they've already proven that they can't handle radio very well for some reason.
I should not have to fund these people to come out here and tell me that things I know are right are wrong. I should not have to fund these people to lie to me. And that doesn't help democracy at all. But democracy was a big topic, Jack. Big topic today with lefties. Because did you see the Jeffries clip? Oh, Jim Jeffries, you fucking asshole. Jim Jeffries is the minority leader.
I did see this. I was thinking of some comedian.
Hakeem. I keep calling him Jim. Fuck.
Yeah,
Hakeem
Jim Jeffries is a comedian.
Hakeem Jeffries. Fuck. I do that every time I talk about this idiot. Hey, Hakeem, change your name to something American.
Close, by the way.
Change your name to something American so I stop fucking it up.
Right.
Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader, and I'm not calling him minority because he's dark. I don't know what he is. Is he black?
I don't know.
Is he black or is he Kamala?
Well, he's a name like Hakeem. That's more Middle Eastern. But he looks like he's half black and half, I don't know.
He looks mixed.
Yeah, he's definitely looks mixed. But
and I mean,
it's America. He could be half polar bear. I don't know.
And I don't really care. I don't want to get in trouble for later calling him the minority leader when they decide that's racist.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's the minority leader in the House, and if the Democrats take the House back over in 2024, he'll become the Speaker of the House. Yeah, and then we'll have to hear about how great it is that there's a person of color in there, because that's what matters.
It's historic, monkey.
Half black, half man bear. Okay, so he's being interviewed by 60 Minutes because, of course, he is. We got to be pushing the Democratic platform. And, he's starting to get vagina neck. Hakeem, bro.
Yeah, he's got old lady neck.
How do you get vagina
uncommon
neck?
In a dude.
That is very uncommon in a dude, but so is being this feminine as a man, so.
That's a good point. I don't know. When George Santos is way more manly than you should think about that.
Got to turn that back up. We had it down for Biden's helicopter and his poopy moment.
How big of an issue will abortion rights be this election year?
As big as they can make it, because it's literally their only winning platform. That's the answer. The real answer. Now let's see what the first minority that says.
It's going to be an incredibly significant issue because
I hate the way this man talks.
Yeah.
He sounds mildly retarded.
He kind of does, yeah. It's listening to Bowman talk. And
I mean that in the most serious sense. Like he's struggling to be able to use words. But anyway, sorry.
Because on its own, it's about freedom. And the extreme MAGA Republicans have
every goddamn time, not just the Republicans, not just the MAGA Republicans, The extreme MAGA Republicans.
Yeah, the Trump supporters, the ones that capitulate to the Democrats are fine. You know, the rhinos like Mike Johnson.
Understatement says, looked it up, Monk. He's just light skinned, probably a lot of white in his blood for reasons I won't get into. I understand. We'll call it Jeffersonian issues. How about that?
Jefferson did nothing wrong.
I don't agree with that.
Yep. Sally Hemings was the half sister of his dead wife who had been dead for over a decade.
Yeah.
And they were like,
this is one of those cases where even if she was on board with it, she was still technically a slave. So I can't just be like, nah, I mean, they just loved each other.
It's fetish role play.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Set in motion the erosion of reproductive freedom.
They keep using that term. Reproductive freedom. You're literally talking about not reproducing.
Look, some people have that. Some people have executioner freedom. It's all about the ability to kill. It's the 007. He has reproduction freedom too.
It's such euphemistic bullshit.
You are just a negative Nancy today.
The erosion of reproductive freedom. We're going to fight for it with everything that we've got.
I hate how he speaks.
That's very similar to what I talk about when I say how smokers tell a story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about when you say that. I try not to be that way, but I know a lot of people, they take that drag to get the dramatic emphasis.
Yeah, it's fucking irritating. But he seems to be one of those like trained speakers that talks like that normally. It's very irritating.
Got at our disposal.
Can I also just stop and point out, because it's a big deal that he's the first minority leader in the House, right? They made a big deal out of it. When he becomes speaker, they'll make a big deal out of that. If it wasn't for abortion, the black population in the United States would be at least double.
Yeah.
At least double.
Great pause game, too. Looks like he's getting a leak on her.
But this is all for the freedoms.
Got at our disposal. If Roe v. Wade can fall, anything can fall.
That's not true. He's going to give us some examples, and we'll get into those in a minute. But and it's not because of Roe v. Wade being passed meant anything could fall. Roe v. Wade being declared an intrinsic public right to kill your baby, that is what made it so that you can do this to anything. You can, the Supreme Court way overstepped their bounds in Roe. That's kind of been part of the argument against it for a long, long time. Not just that you're killing babies, but the way that it was done. None of these fucking politicians had the balls to just go, yeah, let's kill babies. They pushed it through the courts, and the court just declared it that way. That's where the real problem comes in. But no, getting rid of Roe is going to make sure you can get rid of rights. Hey, Hakeem, how you feel about gun rights, man?
Social Security can fall. Medicare can fall.
Neither of those are rights, homie.
Yeah, they are. Anytime you get free shit from the government, it's a right. Because Big Daddy government is your source of freedom.
Yeah, that's what it is. I love that he used those two, because it just shows what they're trying to do here, because that's their only other line of argument that they've been even modestly successful on, is trying to paint it that the Republicans are getting rid of your Social Security and Medicare because they wanted to push a plan where all funding came up. Right now, for those of you who don't know this, the way that our federal budget works is Medicaid Medicare and Social Security and other entitlements have to be paid. You ever heard the term discretionary spending? Discretionary spending is a very small part of our budget. The majority of our budget is what they call mandatory spending, which includes Social Security and Medicare. And what the Republicans want is to get rid of that nonsense. So instead of every year, this is what we're going to spend on Social Security, we look at it and go, we don't have the money to spend that this year. We're spending this much, like we do with what they call discretionary spending. There shouldn't be a difference between discretionary and non-discretionary spending. The only non-discretionary spending we actually have is the interest on the debt. That has to be paid.
Yeah.
Everything else should be up for it. Now, for the record, as these fucking assholes go out there and tell you the Republicans are trying to take away Social Security, you know who once said everything should be on the table when it comes to the budget? Joseph R. Biden. It's on fucking video. And that asshole has the nerve to go out there and go, Trump's going to try to take away, they want to take away your Social Security. They want to lower the amounts. You put that forward first, dickhead. You did it back in like 94. No, that's just lies. It's on video, Jack.
Just because it's on video doesn't make it true, monkey.
Oh my God.
That's what we've all learned in the last few years. Thank you, Margaret Sanger. At least the people of darkness finally realize why we need abortion. Jesus Christ. I didn't read that before I read it out loud.
Oh, Margaret Sanger is dancing in her grave. She is so happy.
This is absolutely her fantasy dream. The number of minorities that have killed their babies, that was what she wanted the whole time.
The most powerful black man in America supports the eradication of black children.
Yep.
I mean, I guess we shouldn't be surprised when we had a black president. He did too, so.
There's a lot of tap dancing going on in hell right now, so.
Voting rights can fall. And God help us all, but democracy itself can fall.
Because the Supreme Court said there is not a right to kill babies, democracy itself could fall.
Yeah, monkey.
If you can't have abortions, democracy could fall.
Yeah. If the ability to murder babies is like a fundamental principle of the Democrat Party. I mean, Moloch can't get more powerful without them dead babies.
If people vote to get rid of abortion, is it democracy? They love this democracy. And remember, they drop it now and then. Occasionally they yeah, we're not going to talk about democracy today. When people vote for something they don't like, suddenly democracy doesn't mean shit to them. Democracy is literally just a vote. It's letting the people vote. That's not necessarily a good thing. Ask Germany.
Yeah, well, depends on what generation of Germans you ask.
They treat democracy like it is this most sacred thing ever, on occasion.
Yeah, when it's useful.
But democracy has been responsible for a lot of bad shit. You know what made the mafia so powerful in America? Democracy. It was the passage of the 17th Amendment? Prohibition.
Yeah.
That was voted on. That was the people. They voted for people who said we will pass this. That all came about and leads to horrible gangland violence that still, runs our movie industry.
Yeah.
No, democracy is the be all end all of government. And look, I'm not against democracy, Jack. I think our democratic republic, the way we do it, is pretty decent if we would stick to the original concepts.
Mm-hmm.
The problem has been that the federal government has gotten so strong. So I'm not against democracy. I'm just not, it's not a religious thing for me. It's not sacred to me
Yeah.
because a lot of democratic decisions are fucking stupid. Democracy said that gay marriage should be illegal in California.
That was the wrong kind of democracy.
Yeah, they didn't care about it then. Then it had to go to the Supreme Court, remember?
Yeah.
California, and this is when California is quite blue. And even they were like, nah, man, fuck gay marriage. And so the government stepped in because democracy got it wrong. Well, if gay marriage can pass, then democracy itself could fall, Jack.
What?
Of the two, which one proves democracy could fall? Roe v. Wade or fuck, I forgot. Obermann? Fuck, how do you the gay marriage decision? Which of those two actually overruled democracy? It wasn't Roe, I promise you. Or the Dobbs, I should say. They keep saying overturn Roe. It's amazing to me none of them say Dobbs. And the reason they're doing that is because for 50 years, Roe v. Wade, Roe v. Wade, Roe v. Wade.
Mm-hmm.
And if you say Dobbs, most of them won't know what the fuck you're talking about. So they're just sticking with the propaganda talking point.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah, the decision they're mad about is called Dobbs. It's the Dobbs decision. Anyway.
If Roe v. Wade can fall, then anything can fall. Every single thing that we care about is on the ballot in November.
Every single thing we care about, Jack. And remember, this is in regards to abortion. Don't worry, guys. They absolutely love you women. That's why they want you to be able to have abortions. Just don't try to take your daughter to a locker room and not see dick.
Well, I mean, that's when democracy's full of bigots.
That's when they don't care about the women anymore. Roe v. Wade was a lie and unconstitutional. It was absolutely a lie, and it was absolutely unconstitutional. For those who don't know, Roe lied about being raped to try to get her abortion.
Look, the right itself was hidden in invisible ink in the penumbra.
In the penumbra. Yeah, it was implied. No, it wasn't. It was not, and it's fucking retarded. Don't care about that one as much. Don't really care about that idiot either. I saw something that just fucking blew my mind, Jack. Since we're on the subject of Democrats and the insanity that some groups supporting them puts on full display, Cory Booker tweeted this out. Senator Whitehouse is an extraordinary colleague who delivers every day for Rhode Islanders and Americans. Please join me in supporting him. Sheldon Whitehouse recently announced that he was running for re-election.
Isn't that the guy that belongs to a whites only club?
Yep. That's him.
Oh.
He this was found out. Let's see, this is 2024. So we got to go back to I think 2012 is when this first comes out publicly that he is a member of a whites only beach club. And he says, I'm going to talk to him and get him to change that. And then in 2018, he was asked about it again. Could you ask me again later? As far as at least as of 2021, he was still a member of that group. He was still a member of a whites only club. And this is a black man telling you how great he is. Because he has the same fucking name in parentheses after his, or same fucking letter in his parentheses after his name when he shows up on the news.
Solidarity at all costs.
This is a man who can't take you to his beach club, dickhead. And you're up there like, he's great colleague.
Real quick. Thank you, Frosted. My favorite hero of democracy was Emmett Till. He got outvoted and accepted the consequences. You know, democracy in the strongest system when it's lasted this long, despite supposedly taking more damage than an emo's wrist.
That was dark.
That was very dark.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
I'm almost surprised you didn't go with Laura Logan getting gang raped in Egypt.
How do you support somebody like Sheldon Whitehouse? I don't care if you're a Democrat or not. The guy is a member of a racist club in 2021. I'm not saying in 2024 because maybe he stopped paying his dues.
Senator Byrd kept getting reelected.
This was in 2021.
Yeah, well, chronology doesn't mean anything to these people. They haven't changed their stripes. It's all about power. It's not about principle with them.
Thanks for the support, Corey. Now get to the back of the bus, right? The other part of Sheldon Whitehouse that never gets discussed in the media is that the man is an insane conspiracy theorist. He is actually a conspiracy theorist. He believes that the Federalist Society is controlling all of our government, specifically the Republicans. And that they're the reason that Roe v. Wade got overturned, because the Federalist Society is working with what he calls dark money. Look this shit up. He's not shy about this. He has graphs and everything he brings out when he talks about it. That the Federalist Society is using dark money to push certain kinds of people onto the Supreme Court to get things done, to get their horrible agenda pushed through. And nobody calls him on this shit. Nobody's out there going, this guy's a fucking lunatic on the nightly news. Can you imagine if a Republican was out there going, they've done it with George Soros. Oh, you guys see, you're conspiracy theorists. You think George Soros controls everything.
No, but we do think he influences things. Yeah, that's the implication he was making, I think.
I wonder if by Federalist Society he means Zionist. Well, Frosted, let me just refer you to the fact that he belongs to a whites-only club.
Yeah. I bet they have special white robes you have to wear.
And the last justice, his last name is Cohen. Oh, sorry, the last Republican. Cohen. We all know what that means. Wink, wink. Is the Federalist Society still a thing? They never beg me for money. Apparently, and they're out there controlling the world.
Are they an extension of the Freemasons and the Elders of Zion and the Knights Templar? There's a lot of people trying to control the world. We don't talk about the ones that are really trying, though.
You know there are black-only clubs and Jew-only clubs? Yes, I do. And the simple fact of the matter is nobody really cares. It's been a thing since like the 60s that white-only clubs and stuff fell out of favor. Mm-hmm. And to be a politician, especially a Democrat, in the 2020s as part of a fucking whites-only and not getting any real pushback, every so often a story gets written about it. Every so often. Once in a while, a reporter might ask him about it. And then it goes away. Anyone else would have had to, if this was a Republican who belonged to a whites-only club, they tried with Amy Coney Barrett, they tried presenting her church as this whites-only thing when it's not. But look, see, it shows she's racist. The guy sitting next to you belongs to a whites-only club. How fucking dare you even bring that up? And if we're going to finally say, hey, it's fine to have your race-only club, for the record, I think it should be. I think if a bunch of white people want to get together and be jackasses behind the door, I don't give a shit. I'm not going. I'm not somebody who likes breaking people off based on identity, Jack. Those aren't my people.
No, that's not my kind of thing.
We're not the same just because I'm white. But I think you should be allowed to. But the reality of our politics is that you can't do that with whites only, apparently, unless you're a Democrat. And then it's fine.
Well, they're so far into identity politics that it's bound to come back to their original Democrat roots.
Yeah. They accused Amy Coney Barrett of being racist, knowing she adopted multiple black kids. Oh, no, don't forget. her adopting black kids was part of the racism.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was just her getting new slaves. Don't you know?
Adoption, the new legalized slavery.
Just give me one fucking standard. That's all I need. I'm not asking for much.
So you say.
Donald Trump came out and denounced white supremacy. Kayleigh McEnany comes out and is asked, will he denounce white supremacy? She goes, I just gave you a whole bunch of times he's done that. And the reporter said, will he do it now? You know who hasn't been asked that? Sheldon fucking Whitehouse.
Or Joe Biden.
Or Joe Biden. Joe Biden gets up there and says, if you don't know if you're going to vote for me or Trump, then you ain't black. And I love the stank he put on the word black when he said it.
Yeah, well.
You ain't black. Did you know he's now claiming that when he went to that porch to hang out with those black people to stop the racism against them, that he got arrested?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, civil rights arrest.
That story gets worse. Soon he's going to be killed. He's going to be like, I was on that porch defending those black people, and I died as many times as AOC did on January 6th.
They had to get resurrected by a high-level wizard.
Of the Klan. Anyway, yeah, I just saw that the other day because he gave another fucking interview where he just lied repeatedly about his history. Joe, just shut up. Go poop yourself quietly.
You can't do that.
Him and Nelson Mandela together. Yeah, there's the Nelson Mandela thing. There's the 10,000 trek or 10,000 kilometer trek with G. Biden is just a liar. And it's another one of those where with the press, it's like, how do you guys justify this? You kept track of all of the lies Donald Trump has ever said, including, if you go through that list that they kept from the Washington Post, most of them were repeats where Donald Trump exaggerated something or like the Mile High burgers or COVID is a hoax. That's my favorite of them because he didn't say COVID was a hoax. That was in there twice. He lied twice about this. Joe Biden lies constantly. And when he comes into office, now remember, this is before he's president. He's already got such a litany. He is so bad at this, he's had to drop out of presidential races. He's had to apologize for stealing his work when he was in college. And they're like, Trump was such a liar that we did this, but with the new president coming in, there just won't be as much to write about. Oh, there's as much to write about, just not as much as you want to put, because then people would know you're fucking liars covering for Joe.
What?
Just one more line, nobody will notice. I mean, it's true. It's true. Joe Biden is a notorious liar. This is a guy who came out and said he was a truck driver for a while.
Yeah, that's how he learned the Puerto Rican politics.
His whole life is a lie.
No, not in Scranton. There's no liars from Scranton.
I know we've talked about this before, but it bears repeating. Joe Biden is such a fucking liar. He had to be sued to stop slandering a dead man for political clout. Him having a dead wife and kid isn't enough. No, it had to be a drunk driver. Officer Buck, thanks so much. Fun fact, the loading icon that goes around in the corner or center of the screen is called a throbber. Is that true?
Disturbing.
I'll take your word for it. He believes he's speaking the truth. I don't believe he even believes he's speaking the truth. I think he's a one-upper. Because if we go back to the college thing, the guy didn't even really question Joe's credentials or his intelligence. But Joe took it that way. And instead of just saying, hey, I have a college degree, I'm a whatever, was he in law?
Yeah, I think so.
Instead of just that, no, it had to be even bigger and better than that because he had to prove how great he was. So, yeah. He was a liar even before the dementia syndrome. Yeah. I mean, the story about him getting sued over slandering that poor driver that was in the accident with his wife, that was decades ago now. Came out and just fucking kept calling that man a drunk driver, and his daughter finally sued him.
Yeah.
Stop slandering my father.
And he's done it since then, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Which is worse, all his lying or when he asks like a crippled man to stand up? Or says hi to dead people. Where's the dead person at?
Yeah, well, he's never been a terribly smart individual.
And he's our president. And I still stand by this. Of the field in 2020, he was the Democrats' best chance to get elected. From sheer name recognition.
Yeah.
How fucking sad is that? How sad is that if you're Kamala or Amy or what's the gay one called? Joe or Pete. You were a worse candidate than the guy who's a notorious liar and was showing signs of dementia. Anyway, we got to watch Don Lemon say something smart.
Oh,
This shocked me. But then I watched the rest of it and we'll get into it at the end. But Taylor Lorenz over here, the 94-year-old liar who works for, I think, the Washington Post now. She is going to say something so stupid, even Don Lemon corrects her. Don Lemon, the guy who believes that a semi-automatic and an automatic are functionally the same, and it's just semantics to point out that they're not.
well, he also believes a plane full of people disappeared through a black hole, so...
This is true. This is recent. Yeah. When this came out, it was his newest show. He's on YouTube if you want to watch the full thing. I don't recommend it because it's mostly stupid.
Yeah, it's... Oh, is it called Three Karens?
That would be great. If it was. Oh, excuse me 1 second, Jack. We talk.
Yeah, well, I guess it could be a queen and two Karens, but... I don't know. Look at that resting bitch face on the right, the snotty one on the left, and Don Lemon in the middle. It's like a reverse Oreo.
It's a reverse Oreo of stupid.
Yeah.
Well, then, Taylor, how do you reconcile the way marginalized groups? Many of the people in these marginalized groups, obviously, they are fighting for Palestine, right, for the Palestinians, and for what's happening in Gaza. But yet, in Gaza, they would not have any freedom.
They don't have freedoms in Texas and
Me a Dodge.
Okay. I don't know if these people really believe this, Jack. That's where I'm at with this kind of nonsense. If you're even trying to compare the lack of freedom that a gay person has in Gaza to a gay person in Texas, you're not smart enough to speak. I can only imagine somebody has their hand rammed up your ass and are using you as a literal puppet right there. Because there's no way your brain is working.
I mean, that's pretty on par for her.
Anyway, we'll take that back so we can let Don address this.
Gaza, they would not have any freedom.
they don't have freedoms in Texas and Florida. Does that mean?
But they don't. But I understand that. But Taylor, I'm a member of the LGBTQ community. If I go to Texas, they're not going to throw me off of a roof. They're not going. Well, then.
Now she follows up because he goes on to point out that the critics say that, like women in Gaza have to cover their face. And this is Taylor's response. Because sometimes reporters go over there and they don't have to cover their face. I'm not kidding. That's her answer. I mean, I'm paraphrasing it, of course, but it's what she says. And Don lets her get away with that shit.
That's ridiculous.
Because even here where he gets it right, pay attention to what he says. Let's back that up one more time.
But yet in Gaza, they would not have any freedom. you know,
They don't have freedoms in Texas and Florida. Does that mean?
but they don't. But I understand that. But
Did you catch that part? I understand that. What freedoms are they missing? That's the follow-up question there. What freedoms are they missing? He agreed at first.
Freedoms.
Exactly, Black Romy. I understand that. But they'll kill me if I go to Gaza. Yeah, you're black and gay. They will definitely. Maybe you could do a nice Nike pose, the Jordan pose as they're throwing you off a building if you went there. But the notion that no, you're right. I understand. I understand they don't have the rights. Yes, they do. What the fuck are you talking about? What she's talking about is things like, not being able to mutilate children, Jack.
They do love to butcher children.
Not being able to take your dick out in front of children in locker rooms.
Oh my God, the monstrosity of it all.
Thank you, Cast One. You're misunderstanding. In Gaza, they get attacked. In Texas, they aren't worshipped. I mean, accepted. The problem is the same. They aren't worshipped. I mean, accepted. Sorry. Truth bug is going around. Capitulation is the only option. Yeah. I mean, I have not heard of gays being thrown off the roof in Texas, and especially not with the support of the Texas leaders. Did I miss a headline? I feel like that would have been a big headline.
I think it would have, yeah.
If you're getting thrown off a roof in Texas for being gay, it's because Muslims found you in Texas. Just saying.
I think that'd be more likely in Dearborn, but
that's why I said found you in Texas.
Yeah.
They got to go looking. Calling Taylor Lorenz a journalist is a stretch. Well, I agree with you in principle. I mean, it is her job. She writes for the Washington Post, used to write for the New York Times. So propagandist is probably a much better word. Liar is the more accurate one.
Yeah.
But she is employed as a journalist. Ain't that some shit?
World's a messed up place, man.
How do you what do you say when all these marginalized groups would basically be killed over there, and she turns it into they don't actually make him cover their faces. He. Yeah, that's the only atrocity that happens in strict Muslim countries is women cover their face. Who's the gentleman on the right? I'm not familiar with Jen Goldbeck. Goldbook. I don't know what that fucking Goldbook. I can't fucking read it. There's numbers in the way. But from what I could tell, she's basically one of them. One of us. One of us. Her and Taylor were basically on the same page the whole time because damn good and well that Don, he's not going to have any pushback to any of that leftist bullshit. I'm kind of disappointed because I didn't see anything about protesters getting harmed today. Oh, wait. Yes, I did. Where's that fucking stupid bitch? That was towards the end of my night. Not that one. Here it is. Carol Leonig. I can't say her fucking name. She's here to tell us the reality of what's going on in the ground, Jack.
Oh, yeah. Totally accurate, I'm sure.
Jagger Resurrect, thank you so much for that, feminist. $12. I bet these people support the Chai Boys over there. What is that? What are the Chai Boys? That's not one I'm familiar with. But thank you so much for the donation. Don't forget, guys, we're brought to you by you. Hit the like button, the share button, and if you would, please consider donating to Jack or myself. The links are going through your chats, and they're linked below the videos. So toss us a dollar for, doing the hardest job on the planet. I'm really selling it, aren't I?
You gotta sound a little bit more like you actually believe it. Like, this is the hardest job on the planet, you guys. We are so tired. Like, we are putting in the work. We are manifesting gratitude.
Oh, Dark. Yes. The boys were passed around by the elders. I know about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They're basically little sex slaves. They rape little boys.
Yeah, the dancing boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a really disturbing documentary about that.
Yep. I couldn't watch it all.
It's not easy.
Clear fact-based reporting here. Well, let's fact check that. Washington Post, MSNBC. All right, I'm just going to call bullshit. Just going to call bullshit. Clear fact-based reporting here, backed up by video and reporters who witnessed it. You should be able to do it with just the video. Why do you need the reporters? You know what I mean, Jack?
Backup, legitimacy, I assume.
Like, do you remember that one chick who got drug out from behind the fence at the federal building in Portland? She got drug out from behind the fence, and people were like, they pushed her in there. I didn't have to tell them that was wrong. I was like, no, here's the real video. You can look at it and see what happened. The bitch went back there by herself.
You bigot.
I know, right? So that backed up by video and reporters who witnessed it. I don't trust reporters, so just show me the video. How about that? Anyway, peaceful pro-Palestinian encampment at UCLA was violently attacked by counter-protesters chanting pro-Israel slogans on Tuesday night. What are the pro-Israel slogans? I haven't heard them.
Please stop trying to murder the Jews.
We won't pay full price. We won't pay full price. What is the Jew chant?
I don't know.
From the river to the sea, I'm gonna not pay the fee. I don't know. I haven't heard any of them.
I have a coupon.
Police were then called in and arrested the victims as counter-protesters dispersed and many chanted USA and back the blue. This is a highly controversial topic with emotions high on all sides, but factual reporting cuts through what actually happened on this frightening evening. All right. Hold that thought. I didn't do that for emphasis, Jack. I just was ready to light a cigarette.
Yeah, I know.
And take a drink. All right. Whoever's being violent should be arrested, especially, the ones who are starting the violence. Here's the problem. That's not the precedent you've set over the last 8 fucking years.
That only applies to them, monkey, not you unsophisticated barbarians.
When the Proud Boys show up, and who is that one dude who I can't remember his name. Based something.
Base Stickman?
Base Stickman, thank you. When these guys would show up somewhere and not start the violence, only respond to it, you guys referred to them as the ones who were violent. Yeah. They were the ones who were causing the problem. You never, ever went out there and went, oh, by the way, it's actually Antifa who started the fighting. There was no factual reporting cutting through the bullshit. The reporting was the bullshit. And it just once again reminds me, so we talked about this with Hassan the other day. Their problem isn't that there's violence happening. It's that the same standards are being applied here. Now, the reason the police went in there and moved them out wasn't because of the violence. It was because they weren't supposed to be there. It wasn't. This isn't a case, Jack, where where we'd see something blow up between Antifa and the Proud Boys, and the police stepped in and were like, we got to stop this because it's gotten a little too violent. That's not what happened. They got removed because they weren't supposed to fucking be there.
They weren't even supposed to be there today.
But even in that case, why are you guys suddenly upset about what you were perfectly fine with for 8 fucking years?
Because they weren't the ones perpetuating the violence. It's always a threat against them. Their violence is always defensive in their brains.
Yeah,
anybody else is offensive.
Yeah, and we saw this where they would even justify hitting people first.
Yeah, it was preemptive defense.
Eagle, thank you so much. Who says just because? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Proud Boys were not noodle arm violent. That's fair. That's fair. Antifa isn't real. You're right, Mr. Hugh. I forgot about that. That it was an idea. It's just an idea.
It's a right-wing fantasy.
But here we have the Washington Post cutting through the crap. We're going to give you the factual reporting. I'm still on the side of you should throw the people who are being violent in jail, Jack. That's just a good way to run a civilized society.
You're a monster. How are you supposed to do that? Because look, some of those people are going to be black and or brown. And you are just accelerating the school to prison pipeline that has held them back for generations. They deserve some deference and therefore should be off the hook for any consequences for their actions. You fucking racist.
I can't take our press anymore, man. They are so bad. They are so bad. She might even be right about what happened. The videos that I've seen, if I'm being honest, it's going pretty much both ways.
Mhm.
I have not seen all of them though. The protesters, because we have protesters and counter protesters, we'll call them the terrorists and the Jews. How about that?
Okay.
The terrorists are not as good at it, and they keep getting their asses whipped.
Just
but
like
they're not without fault. They're starting shit and then getting their asses kicked, and people are, oh my god, I can't believe they got beat up like that.
So they really are Hamas.
Yes, exactly. Meanwhile, a Jewish girl gets kicked unconscious because she tried to pick up a sign. It was a flag that her sister dropped. News ain't got shit to say about that.
Of course not. They don't give a shit. They're a bunch of bigots too.
Yeah, that shit's on video. She was walking with her sister and I believe her mother, and her sister was carrying an Israeli flag and it got dropped, and she reached down to pick it up, and they start beating the fuck out of this girl, knocked her unconscious.
That's because they're a bunch of cowards that attack women. You know, male feminists.
But don't worry, man. They're not attacking Jews. They thought she was a Gentile, or a non-Gentile, sorry, a non-Gentile who was just trying to pick up litter. And they hate when you pick up litter, because what are they going to set on fire if they don't have trash around?
That's right. They are giant trash monsters that leave a snail trail of garbage so they can set it on fire later.
Eagle says, really? I didn't see this. I'm assuming it's on Twitter. I know it's on Twitter. It's also on YouTube in several spots. There are a few stories written about it. You can look it up. Just look for a Jewish girl knocked unconscious. I think should find it. I really want to read that out, though. Understatement. I'm going to read it. He says her fault for walking Jewy. He said not to read that out. He was making a sarcastic comment for anybody who's wondering. Yeah, I mean, that's what she was doing. Look at she's walking all Jewy. She deserved it. I mean, can you give me a better explanation for why it was okay to kick the shit out of her? She was picking up a flag, for fuck's sake. And they knocked her unconscious.
A flag of the enemy.
But the Jew protesters are throwing fireworks. As we mentioned the other day. Yeah. Where'd they get that fucking idea? You guys called that shit mostly peaceful.
Yeah, but now it's different when somebody does it to them.
And by the way, don't do that shit. You're going to get somebody seriously hurt.
Oh, yeah. You're going to blow a finger off.
And if you do that, I 100% support you going to prison for it.
I might still laugh, but yeah, don't do that.
I'm laughing at the absurdity of how it's treated. And these are the tactics that they've been using. How dare you use our tactics? Eat me. She was standing there Israeli-ing. Stop it.
Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. These terrorists would make beheading videos if they could get away with it or weren't fueled by soy. Yeah, I think it's mostly the second one, because I'm surprised they haven't really, really hurt somebody or blown something up, because they're getting closer to that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not a good thing that the other side is escalated to where the terrorists are.
But
People
it's
are going to get hurt.
predictable.
Yeah. We talked about this all through 2020. There's going to be a retaliation.
Yeah, and then it escalates, and it'll start. They're going to turn Weather Underground real fast here.
I mean, we already saw him doing that during 2020, setting police cars on fire and shit, killing police officers.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something a little more fun, though.
Oh, yeah?
George Santos.
Do you find that dude so fucking funny? I don't know why, but I want that guy to have his own TV show.
Representative Santos asked former colleagues if they would draft expulsion resolution for color. Have you been following this color thing?
Not really. I haven't had a chance. I see it, but I haven't really followed it, if you know what I mean.
Henry Culler and his wife have been indicted for accepting bribes from foreign nations.
Yeah.
I think is it 12 counts, 9 counts? I don't remember the exact amount, but yeah, they have been federally indicted for this shit. Former Representatives George Santos went after former House colleagues Saturday, asking if they would draft a resolution to expel Representative Henry Culler from Texas. Hey, at Richie Torres, are you going to draft an expulsion resolution? Or is it just for Republicans who flip seats? He's talking about the fact that he flipped the seat to Republican in New York when he was elected.
Yeah.
Back in February of last year, Representative Robert Garcia, alongside Torres and Representatives Dan Goldman, Becca Balint, and Eric Sorensen unveiled a revolution. God damn, I keep seeing resolution to expel Santos. He was expelled later that year. He wasn't expelled on the original attempt. There was actually people like Jamie Raskin who stood up and said, no, we can't do this. But just because somebody's been charged doesn't mean you kick them out. And by the way, I still agree with that. They're still the elected representative. You can ask them to, but if they say no, then you got to let the process play out. But then an ethics report comes out, which again, not legally binding. And they're like, yeah, he's probably guilty of this stuff. So they kicked him out then. So here's the thing, Miss Thing at Robert Garcia going to draft an expulsion resolution for Culler. Culler and his wife were indicted on charges in relation to allegedly taking almost $600,000 in bribes and laundering funds Friday. Yeah, I forgot about the laundering part.
Yeah.
Not only did they take a shit ton of bribes, they laundered the money. Whoopsie.
Like you do.
Yeah, if they get found guilty of this, they are going away for a long time. A long, long time.
They should switch to Democrat. Wouldn't have been a problem.
Oh, they are Democrats.
Oh, well then what are they worried about? They're not going to real jail.
I just like that Santos jumped on this because we talked about it when Santos bribes from who? A company in Mexico and a company, where was the other? Maybe it's in the story. I forget where the other company was. Yeah, this article doesn't say. I know one of them is from Mexico. I don't know. Oh, Mexican bank and the Azerbaijan government. There we go.
Yeah, Azerbaijan, no real ally to us.
Azerbaijan, yeah.
This is almost as bad as what Menendez was doing.
Well, Azerbaijan, this is one of Ramaswamy's big talking points anytime anybody brings up the wars going on in Israel and specifically in Israel. They're like just killing Christians for fun over there in Azerbaijan, and nobody's saying shit.
No, they're not going to because nobody cares about the Christians.
Yeah.
They're not.
Doesn't matter. Hey,
brown group.
It's okay to have a genocide going on as long as it's not, of terrorists. How dare you kill the terrorists? Go kill the Christians.
We need our weave. Oh, wait.
Yes.
Wrong thing. Sorry.
Morning, Pat. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Pat.
No, but we talked about at the time when he gets expelled. I mean, how many of these assholes in Congress have lied? How many of them are criminals? and how many. Nobody's kicking Ilhan Omar out, and she almost certainly violated our immigration laws.
Yeah. Well,
And
say
married
what
her
you will
brother.
about Santos. A lot of the stuff he did was pretty fucking petty compared
Yeah.
to what people like Menendez are still doing.
Yeah, Menendez is still in Congress, and his ass is going to prison.
Yeah.
That's a pretty open and shut case on that one, and the Democrats didn't all go. And again, I agree with it if you're going to do it for everybody, because the notion that just being indicted should get you immediately kicked out opens the door to lawfare. What we're seeing happen with Trump.
Yep.
So no, that should not be, because then all you need is a sympathetic DA to trump up some charges. Boom, you get to kick that person out, and that should not be a thing. You can pressure them to step down. That's fine. But they are the duly elected representative of that district for 2 years. And the notion that you can just kick them out, fuck you. And I just want to reiterate, I think Santos is a jackass. I think he's probably guilty of a few felonies. He's definitely guilty of lying his ass off in his campaign. He makes me laugh, but I would never vote for the fucker. But it doesn't make him wrong here.
I might vote for him just because I'm becoming such a nihilist. And you're right. Look, the guy did some crimes, but so many people in Congress do them. Not to mention all the insider trading going on.
Oh no, Nancy Pelosi just got a Medal of Freedom.
Yeah,
ain't that some shit?
That was disgusting.
Yeah. For those of you who are unaware, Congress is allowed to take things that they learn in secret backdoor meetings with people from different businesses and use it to buy stocks.
Yeah, or sell stock if they know that they're going to investigate somebody.
True. Yeah. Now, technically, it's illegal, because you'd have to prove that they use that information, and you just can't. Just because Pelosi's husband happens to buy a whole bunch of stock or sell a whole bunch of stock, at the same time, his wife is, overseeing an investigation. Don't look at that at all.
It's one of those cases of we investigated ourselves and found no evidence of wrongdoing.
Mm-hmm. Or make policy to influence stock. Yeah. Like, hey, we're going to have this bill that loosens regulations on company X. My husband bought that coincidentally at the same time. It was completely coincidental.
Yeah, totally coincidental.
And he gave that bitch a Medal of Freedom. Because of course he did.
Yeah.
There was no way he was getting out of office without giving her one, because those are two retards that have been together for a while. And this way he can show that during the campaign. Look how much I care about women. I gave this old cheating bitch a fucking Medal of Freedom. I love the women's. I hate our country sometimes. Not our country, our people running it. Let me be careful, because I do love America. I'm flags and freedom and eagles, baby. I just hate the people who are in charge at the moment. Wally, the emotional support alligator, once denied entry to a baseball game, is missing. I saw that they think it's stolen, right? It's not like he snuck out of the yard or something.
It's hard to say.
An emotional support animal registration in the United States has reached 115,832 last year by an industry group's count. But in the eyes of reptile rescuer Joel Henney, there was only one. Wally Gator, his gentle certified emotional support alligator. If you ever needed proof that emotional support animals are fucking bullshit, it's this alligator.
Oh no, the llama is what sold it for me.
This man has an emotional support alligator. Jag, when I worked at Walmart, we weren't allowed to question people when they brought animals into the store, because that could be a violation of the ADA. And I've always thought that was nonsense. You should have to actually show that it is a necessary animal, not just, I get sad when I get away from Pebbles. Damn it, Shio, you beat me to
Pebbles!
it. Pebbles! Remember, Pebbles was an emotional support. An emotional support hamster that she flushed down the toilet.
Poor Pebbles.
I-
May Pebbles rest in power.
Pebbles, you were too good for this world.
Yeah, sitting at the right hand of Kevin Samuels.
I want an emotional support saber-tooth tiger. I want an emotional support tiger, a real one. In a heavy cage.
An emotional. What?
In a heavy cage where it can't eat me.
Oh well, yeah. I have an emotional support sex worker.
I think that's called a sex slave. What are you, Andrew Tate?
Nothing to see here. Stay out of my basement.
Yeah, but his alligator turned up missing. What do you think the odds are he's got a new belt or maybe some new boots?
I bet his neighbor does.
I mean, is there anything to the story we really need to pay attention to other than
No, I just wanted
it?
to talk about a missing emotional support gator because it's funny as shit.
Wally, the emotional support alligator.
Yeah.
How cold were your parents that cuddling up to an alligator gives you comfort?
Oh, that dinosaur feeling is what really kind of ties it all together and makes them homesick. No, I don't think there's a reward out there yet, but just in case, you want to be on the lookout for the emotional support gator.
Be careful reaching for it, though. It is an alligator. And while it's small, they can still do damage at that age.
Yeah, and you have to make sure it's the right one. It actually has to be Wally, no Wally impersonators.
I have an emotional support fifth of Irish whiskey. That makes much more sense. Much more sense.
The cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Oh, man. Yeah. So many people would come to me when I worked at Walmart like, they have a cat in here. Like, I know. I can't stop them. That is their work animal.
Yeah.
Which is fucking gross because there's food in there.
Yep.
If there was just a cat running around Walmart, it snuck in. Oh, you know what? Even better. There were birds. Yeah. Birds would get in all the time, and they used to shoot them. But
yeah, we did too.
You had to get rid of them because it's nasty. You have food in there. Let somebody bring a dog that's not because they're blind or need any kind of help, just because it's my dog. It is not a work animal if it's in your fucking purse. It's not a work animal if it can fit in your fucking purse. Unless you're powering your house with hamsters on wheels, if it's small enough to go in your purse, I'm not calling it a work dog.
I mean, it kind of depends what that poor dog's been forced to do, like Lemmy Winks.
Still, I wouldn't call it a work dog. At that point, I'd call it an abuse victim.
That's true.
This is some nonsense. It's more of that stupid psychology bullshit. Yeah, you need an emotional support. I do get comfort when I snuggle with my kitty cat, Jack.
Yeah, but that's different than like you're such an emotional cripple you can't leave the house without your kitty cat.
Well, using the Pebbles story as the example, Pebbles is probably the greatest example that this is nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
As fucked up as that story is. For those of you who don't know, this woman goes to get on a plane and she called ahead and asked them if she could bring her emotional support hamster with her. She claims they told her yes, and the airline has said it's possible somebody told her yes, but they gave her wrong information. She goes to the desk to check in. The person at the gate's like, "You're not bringing a fucking rat onto the plane. You need to call somebody to get rid of it or set it free." So this lady goes into the bathroom and flushes her hamster down the toilet, which she claims the gate agent told her to do.
Yeah, and it did go down the first time.
You are so emotionally disturbed that you cannot go anywhere without this hamster, yet you murdered it and were able to get on with your day.
She's moving on with her life, monkey. She was healed now.
You just proved you didn't need it. Because if you were really that disturbed, killing that hamster would have left you in a ball on the floor crying with your thumb in your mouth and your other one up your butt.
You are such a monster. This was liberating for her, monkey. Liberating.
She murdered Pebbles.
Pebbles!
because she's an emotional basket case.
Yeah.
And no, she wasn't even she was just a fucking privileged moron who carried a hamster around so people would go, why you carry a hamster around? And she could tell them about how fucked up her life was and they'd actually pay attention to her for 10 seconds.
I mean, there's that.
Black Romeo said the exact quote that she says that the agent said was, flush it down the toilet, let it go. I don't care. It's not going on the plane. Yeah. And again, they copped to telling her, or at least possibly telling her she could bring it, that somebody fucked that up. But here's the thing. Even if he did, even if that gate agent said, flush it down the toilet, let it go. I don't give a shit. You're just not bringing it on the plane. That doesn't mean you go flush it down the fucking toilet. Why did you go with murdering it instead of letting it go?
It couldn't live without her. She was the emotional support human.
You ever have a hamster?
No, I don't like rats.
I had a hamster I named Houdini because the little fucker could get out of his cage constantly.
Yeah, they're pretty smart.
Houdini was out of his cage all the time. And Salty Bear, thank you for the raid over. I didn't know you could do raids on Rumble. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, he'd get out and it'd be days before we found him. And we had at the time 9 cats. They were indoor, outdoor. My mom had a problem when somebody would bring her a stray cat, she'd keep it.
Yeah, my parents were like that too.
So we had 9 cats in the house, and this fucking hamster was fine. And this bitch flushed him down the toilet instead of setting him free. Anyway, emotional support animals are nonsense. They're just nonsense. Now, that's not to say animals can't make you feel better. There's studies that show people who have cats live longer. Look it up. Just for companionship, Jack.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you need to take Fluffy to the fucking grocery store. That means when you go to the grocery store, you give Fluffy a little treat, and when you get back, you pet him and you give him the treat. No, I need you to pay attention to me. Look, I got a cat. I hate these people.
I know. Real quick though, thank you, Frosted. Hey, Jack. I don't think it's that big of a deal. That guy was taking bribes from a Mexican company. Know who else takes bribes? Me at the corner store. We launched last night. Awesome merch, and half of all profits go to Moonshock's GoFundMe. Links in chat. Oh, so go over to Frosted Glasses channel, check the chat or the links, and you should see the support channel or for the merch store there. And like you said, half the profits go to Moonshock.
Your boy Pat, I didn't even think of that. He said most of these are just props for attention, like transing up their kids. Trans kids are just the new emotional support animals.
Yeah, well, they've always got to one up it. It's all about their cluster B syndromes, where they need attention desperately, and you're going to give it to them one way or another.
Black Romeo said, we'll get to this one on screen, which, by the way, I'm already giving Frosted the finger for.
Yeah.
Black Romeo says, well, I'd say emotional support animals are an actual thing, like when vets get paired up with their service dog or something. Even the average person can need an animal, but it has to be a need. You are right about that. But again, that goes to the companionship thing I was talking about. And these are still not animals you have to take everywhere with you. It's the comforts of home is what animals used to be.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I'm sorry. It's amazing people got through World War I and II without needing them.
Well, there are people that with like PTSD and stuff that the animals do help them calm down. But that is an extreme minority. That is not an emotional support animal per se, as we understand it.
It's
now.
A therapy
that
dog.
Is a service animal.
Yes, it's a therapy dog, and there is a difference there. You know what they don't have? Therapy gerbils for vets.
Yeah, those are animals that are trained in how to help people and recognize when they're having an issue.
Yeah.
So the emotional support thing is absolutely a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, Black Romeo's right to point out. I mean, I'm not saying that there can be no therapeutic value to it, but there's a difference of that and people just claiming that everything is their support animal so they can take it out into public.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, most of the emotional support animal shit started with Paris Hilton walking around with her dog in her purse.
Yep.
Anyway, soldiers in World War II had support M16s. Actually, they had the Garands. The 16 doesn't really get used until Nam, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, the major weapon for our forces was the M1 Garand. I want to say it was the M16 gets introduced in World War II, but it's not in wide usage until in Nam, and then in Nam is where they fixed all the problems with it because it kept junking up on them. Shut up, monkey. Joke trumps history. I was just correcting the record because I know how gun owners are. Say the word clip, I dare you. M16 was invented in the 50s. See? That's why I went back and said it where give it a little more. I thought, wasn't it asked for, though, in World War II? They were looking at it. They were trying to come up for a replacement for, oh, fuck, what did the M16 replace? I've read all the history on this, Jack. I just don't remember it all. I like watching the videos, like history of guns and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's fascinating. I get why that guy in New York who's going to jail, poor bastard, why he got so involved in machining his own guns and stuff. They're incredibly simple, yet incredibly complex machines.
Well, men like gadgets. It's just the way we're wired.
If you just look at a gun, you would think, oh, that's easy to build. All you got to do is put the metal, and you have a hole in it, and you have something that'll hit the primer and shoot the thing. But if you don't do it right, you're going to blow up your hand.
Just like women.
So, I mean, it's really, I mean, I find that stuff fascinating. So, yeah, I've watched all of the history on this. I just have a bad memory. Psychedelic privilege. Are DMT entities racist? Fucking Joe Rogan. I knew it. Joe Rogan's racist. You heard it here first. Actually, probably not here first. You probably heard it elsewhere, but because of his DMT. Monkey Matt interviewed that guy's lawyer this last week, this last Wednesday's show. Can I post the link? Yeah, go ahead, Dangerous. We like Matt around here. That'll be Matt Christensen, not Jabroni.
That's yeah. No Boulder Barons here.
But yeah, I haven't got to see any of Matt's stuff in a while because it doesn't pop up on YouTube anymore.
It doesn't it rarely shows up in my feed. I don't know if it's because Tenet Media's blacklisted or what, but yeah, even the Sunday show from him and Blonde doesn't really show up in my feed anymore.
For some reason, Destiny videos keep showing up, and I haven't watched them really in a long time. And I was watching a debate he had with a guy the other day where Destiny pointed out that nobody wants the Palestinians around. Nobody in the Arab world will take them because they're so violent. And he lists off all these violent things that they've done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
which we've been talking about for months now.
And the guy says this, that's kind of racist to say.
How?
I don't know. He never really expanded. He called it a racist stereotype. It's like, no, it's the reality of the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one made me laugh my ass off.
Well, if they won't run around trying to overthrow everybody's government, maybe people would take them in.
No, but it's racist to point out that the other Arabs don't like them.
Yeah, that makes lots of sense.
And not because of their race, because they're violent.
Yeah, because they're constantly troublemaking. It's weird how that happens when you have no friends because you're a dick.
This isn't, 1600s British America calling the natives savages. This is actual savages.
Yeah, these are tribal. This is all tribal blood feuds, and I'm sick of us meddling in it.
All right. They were thought to be benevolent, but we can no longer ignore the black DMT experience.
Trust me, you're gonna want to go as far as you can in this article because it gets more awesome as you go.
I just don't know. Read this story from Cindy Steinberg, she/her, and all the best stories from Medium. It's for members only.
Oh, hold on. Let me see if the archive's got. Yeah, the archive's got the whole thing. Hold on. I'll give you the archive link.
All right. Safe and recreational drugs is one of the many important cultural. No, I can't read that sentence.
You want me to read it?
Safe and recreational drugs is one of the many important cultural She's basically saying people of color gave us drugs.
No, it's part of their culture.
It's black culture to get high because I got high.
Hey, you want me to read it, Monkey? Because I can take over.
This woman's an idiot.
Oh no, she is,
and kind of racist.
Oh yeah, she's totally racist. But I mean, she's just a leftist, so pretty stock standard.
For the record, honkies were smoking dope long before it infected the black community.
The CIA says officially otherwise.
Now the CIA gave them a little boost.
What?
But anyway. Oh no, I can't. I keep reading ahead.
That's always the flaw with these things, because then you'll want to quit.
Safe and recreational drugs is one of the many important cultural contributions that folks of color have made in the 20th century. Whether it's responsible for Hennessy drinking or the cornucopia of culture that is cannabis, we invented it long before white folks prostituted it to consumerism.
Yeah,
Wait,
this is sort of like, I was a big Metallica fan, but then they sold out.
This bitch is white. Her last name is Steinberg.
Whoopi Goldberg, what?
Yeah, okay. Whoopi we can see is black. Can you see that picture?
Hate fact. Rachel Dolezal.
I've seen her. She's white as shit. But she's neurodivergent, so maybe she thinks she's black. 20th, it started long before that. Now, foreign native. No. This white black chick here, her and her folk invented it in the 20th century.
Yeah. Duh.
But there's one drug that's unquestionably and uniquely shrouded in whiteness. Cocaine? Wasn't that the white drug?
No. Well, it used to be. Now it's not. Read the next sentence.
Cocaine and I will, but cocaine and meth were white drugs. Heroin went both ways. Marijuana, going back to like the 90s or so, that's when marijuana really becomes the black drug. Before that, it was also a white drug. That's what the hippies used to smoke all the time. That's why I call them dope smoking hippies.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there's one drug that's unquestionably and uniquely shrouded in whiteness, a white drug, if you will. We're not talking about cocaine, it's DMT. Everywhere you look, you can find the white cis-het men singing the praises of DMT or related psychedelics, from Joe Rogan to Post Malone. And in case you expected it from all the white men being involved, the truth is that there is unsurprisingly hidden layers of racism. Okay, we're going to switch over to where we can read the rest of the article. I cannot believe this shit is real, but it is.
Yeah, I can honestly see why Frosted loves this crazy woman, because nuts.
She's got 2 comments on it, which is shockingly more than I thought she would have on something this fucking stupid. Everywhere you look. Oh, we already read that one. You see, DMT may be shrouded in whiteness nowadays, but like everything else that you think is right, the drug
white.
actually, sorry, white. And the drug actually has Latinx origins. Man, we honkies steal everything.
That's
we
what
don't-
they tell me.
We don't care who we steal it from. Man, it's not bad enough that we steal from the black folk. We're stealing drugs from the Latinx.
Well, all the Latinx were probably originally black people, because I saw Hidden Colors. I know the truth.
Tell me how much you care about the Latinx by bastardizing their language for your own morality.
That's not linguistic culturalization and colonization. No. It's fixing it.
It's white people who were like, the Redskins are racist. Yes, clearly jealous of their lacking cultural contributions in the sphere of recreational drugs, white folks decided to just outright culturally appropriate one. You were at the point that you're whining about the cultural appropriation of narcotics. Do you understand that? You're like, no, we're the real degenerates. But why? Why are you like this? But if you remove cishet white men from the equation, you'll find that DMT actually has a history much richer and more diverse than a hardtack cracker. Does the hardtack cracker have a diverse backstory?
Oh, it does. Everything does, because Whitey stole it.
I thought somebody just accidentally spilled some water in some flour and like, fuck it, bake it, see what happens.
Nope, that was black people magic.
To understand the Latino history, I'm going to say it properly. The Latino history of DMT, you first need to understand
Ayahuasca.
Sure. To put it short and sweet, it is the main psychoactive ingredient in DMT. It is a natural plant that naturally grows in nature.
Yeah, the word natural is in there 3 times in half a sentence.
Ayahuasca. Okay. I've heard that word before. I did not realize that's how it's spelled.
It's a natural plant that naturally grows in nature, like the word naturally would imply.
It grows in nature, meaning it's safe. Hey,
Yeah.
Sweetheart, you know those plants that pop up at Christmas time with the little red berries on it? Why don't you eat one of those? They're natural.
Or don't.
They're natural. They're perfectly natural.
Yeah, mistletoe's poisonous, oleander, nightshade. There's probably poison ivy. Don't do that. There's 50 or 60 different things that'll kill you if you eat them. So don't do that. If it's really bright red, probably not safe. Thank you, Evolved Potato. Latinx derived from Latino, which is from Latin, which is a European language. Do you think they even know that Spanish comes from Spain? Because I don't.
No, I saw somebody talking about that for another reason. Razorfist's latest video where he was talking about La Raza. They have a new name. I forgot what it's called, but he mentions it in there. And I forget the other group he's talking about, but they're bitching about the European colonizers and they're writing it in Spanish. It's like,
Yeah.
do you even get it?
No, they don't. That's the sad part. It's not like they're trying to uncover the Aztec hieroglyphs and resurrect that. No, they're putting it in Spanish, which was the colonizing group that took over Central and South America. You fucking retards.
Yes, anybody who says to you that you can eat it because it's natural, you need a second opinion because natural does not mean good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
all natural ingredients. You know what's natural, Jack?
Mercury.
Poop.
uranium.
Lots of shit is natural that you should never ingest.
Lava.
Lava, yes, 100%. And unless you're a Marvel supervillain, you don't want to drink that shit.
No, it's bad for you.
It has been used for centuries by the indigenous peoples around the Amazon basin in spiritual rituals. Hey, sweetheart, do you realize that what you're talking about is not actually Latinx then? You're probably actually talking more about hand-me-downs from Incans and Mayans that disappeared. I'm just saying.
What? You're crazy.
As far as I know, the Spanish who moved in there and took over everything, they copped a lot of their shit.
Yeah, why do you have so many hate facts today, Monkey?
They really do hate when you point out that, Spain colonized basically everything underneath us. A little bit of Portugal, a little bit of French, but it's
Florida.
mostly Spanish.
Yeah, Central South America, almost all of that was colonized by the Spaniards. Not to mention Florida, parts of Georgia. There was a lot of things they came in and just were like, this is ours now.
What always makes me laugh about it is that, at least as I'm growing up, when we were young, Jack, what they taught us mostly about the settling of like Mexico and stuff was Cortez.
Yeah.
What was the amazing thing about Cortez? Do you remember?
He was really good at conquest.
Well, he was blonde.
No, we don't talk about that.
They thought he was some kind of god because he had blonde hair. They'd never seen it before. Because he's fucking European.
European.
It's the European genes that gives you the different color hair. Everybody else just has black or maybe
brown.
A dark brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether the stories are true about how they just laid down arms like, oh my God, he's a god. What we do know is that he's fucking blonde. That's what was amazing about him. That's a big hint that he was from Europe, dipshits.
No. Shush.
It's a recessive gene, and we're being bred out, damn it. Did you know that blondes are disappearing?
Yeah. Well,
Natural blondes.
Darker hair colors have dominant genes, so soon you'll be like those shape-shifting witches, the redheads.
Bullshit, man. I've done my part. I had 3 little blonde kids, and now there's 4 little blonde grandchildren. I'm doing my part to bring us back. I can only do so much, though, Jack. Anyway, where are we? To put it short and sweet. Oh, shit. I forgot how to say it. I keep wanting to say echinacea. Ayahuasca. Thank you. I keep wanting to say echinacea, and I know it's not that. Ayahuasca. Is natural. It has been used, blah, blah, blah. So that's pretty neat, but we've only scratched the surface of DMT. Something you'll quickly learn if you travel in the right psychedelic communities online is that DMT actually gets kind of creepy for Black folks. Well, if you travel in certain communities online, it's amazing what you can learn about Black folks. Nick Fuentes is back on Twitter. Ask him about it. Just saying. For some reason, Black folks around the world have experienced a similar racist phenomenon when talking about DMT. You're not Black. You're white.
You are so full of hate facts.
Wait, but to avoid diluting their message, we'll let their testimony speak for themselves. Now, is she talking about them individually or still as a group of Black people?
I have no idea.
Because just a minute ago, she was claiming to be Black.
She's implying it. Like Rachel Dolezal. Nobody came out and asked.
No, she says, we invented it long before white folks. Or maybe she's claiming with her quite Jewish name to be Latino or Latina. We'll say it properly for her.
Latinx, thank you. You don't gender that shit, you bigot.
I still have trouble saying because all I can think of is that's Mexican tissue.
No, it's the Mexican X-Men. That's why they're all over here. Because they use their mutant powers to get over the border.
Testimonies about DMT entities from colored people. Whoops, people of color. One common phenomenon across DMT experiences or trips is coming across DMT entities called machine elves.
Okay. Yeah, they're really getting into this one.
There are walking, talking creatures that one encounters when taking DMT. Was she going to let them speak in their own, or is she going to tell us what they say and then put it in there? Because she said she was going to let them put it in their own voice.
Yeah, but she said, well, don't worry, the white lady is going to explain it first. So you don't misunderstand it.
Got to have the white people tell us what the blackies are thinking.
I speak jive, stewardess.
Right, yes. The term machine elf was coined by ethnobotanist Terrace McKenna for the entities he encountered in DMT hyperspace, also using terms like fractal elves or self-transforming machine elves. McKenna first encountered the machine elves after smoking DMT in Berkeley in '65. Do people really think what they're seeing when they're blitzed out of their mind is real?
Yes, you'd be actually really surprised by how many people think that they're doing a from beyond, if you've ever seen the Lovecraft movie, where they are actually seeing something that they normally would have access to. It's in the visual spectrum, and it's a real thing. They don't think that it's a mind game. They think this is accessing a portion of the universe that is normally off limits to us. In which case, we're probably going to get eaten by these things.
Should we be afraid of them if we can't even see them unless we're really high? Can they cross the astral plane and touch us?
They can't see you either unless you're under the influence of this stuff, supposedly, because it does some chemical alteration so you can perceive them and they can sometimes perceive you.
I would be so pissed off. I'm sitting there in my other plane, just being my little elf self, and suddenly some jackass pops up in the middle of dinner because he decided to get high.
Yeah. Think of it as like a ghost experience for them. That'd be terrifying.
Home. Get the fuck out of my house.
Freaky hairless monkey shows up and it's like, hi, I did some DMT. You know, Joe Rogan with his giant head. You're like, what the shit is that?
That's just mean to do to the elves.
Yeah, it's awful. It's got to be one of the most traumatic things they could ever have happen. It's like a near-death experience for them.
You think there's elves over there saying humans aren't real?
Yeah, I bet it's a big controversy thing. Like they have to go on those stupid programs, you know, like their version of Donahue or something. Be like, no, I'm serious. I saw this. And nobody believes them. They're like, sure they did.
Do you think there's like a certain spot that is like a hot spot for where the DMT takes you that they've turned into like a tourist attraction like they do with haunted houses?
Probably.
Like if you show up here around 3:30 in the morning, sometimes a big-headed honky shows up.
Yeah, click your flashlight 3 times and you'll find the mystical experience are crossing over and now they're terrifying. Don't look them directly in the eyes. They get violent.
Yes, exactly, Evolved Potato. We're their Bigfoot. We pop up in the middle of their house because some idiot decided to get high and they try to tell their friends and their friends are like, why are you always lying, man? I know you just want attention. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they have nightmare stories like the humans of Leonard Town Road or something like that.
Yeah, Frosty said they all seem to like Doritos. Yeah, they think Doritos and Mountain Dew is our primary food sources.
If you listen, you can hear their wood knocks.
Where are we? But unfortunately, that's... Oh, wait. Sometimes the creatures are friendly and reveal deeper truths about the universe, or they might even take your hand and bring you on a journey. And then they rape you.
Dude, one of them grabbed my hand and tried to kidnap me. And then while I'm running away, he's just kind of staggering behind me. And I'm like, what the hell, man? So I took him to the big tower down on 5th Street. And he thought it was some sort of mystical shrine, kept calling it Devil's Tower. And I'm like, just let me go. It's their police station.
But unfortunately, that's not the experience many black folks have reported. Oh, are these guys racist? The elves are racist?
I
Oh,
think you know the
man.
answer to that, Monkey.
Fucking elves. You can never trust an elf, man.
This is why white people were able to steal the culture, because the elves are in on it.
Oh my God, she actually says it. BIPOC can't even escape the scourge of systemic racism in the DMT realm. Like if you go in the DMT realm and you're black, they won't let you vote. Oh,
I mean,
God.
clearly.
The problem I'm having is she's writing this seriously.
Yeah.
This isn't parody.
That's why it's funny. That's why Frosted gives us these little gems.
One person reported their first trip was good, but their second trip took a turn from the worst. Did you take something?
I bet it was some DMT or LSD, the brown kind.
This time, instead of scared, I was greeted with the profane. See, this is what I'm talking about. The first time he showed up, the guy's like, fuck, there's a ghost in my house. And the second time he showed up, he's like, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah, he should. I know it's coming back. I'm getting a stick.
I was greeted with the profane, and I saw cartoons of racist caricatures mocking me. Think about what the aliens would think if they came down and saw the pictures that we draw of them with the big eyes and the weird shaped head.
Right? They're like, hey, that's rude.
They would think that they would be like, that's not what we look like, dude. That's so racist.
Or they think that's how we communicate. So they're trying to draw those old sidewalk caricatures, thinking that's how we communicate with other people.
Maybe they don't have an advanced civilization with written words, so they're trying to hieroglyph.
Yeah. These people are just bigots, man.
I mean, the Egyptians made the hieroglyphs, and if somebody drew Egyptians like that today, it would be called racist, even if we didn't know what a hieroglyph was. It could be like, that is not what they look like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, they were malevolent, and it felt like I could die. As much as the first trip was welcoming and accepting. You said they were scared in the first trip. He said, this time, instead of scared, I was greeted with profane. And now it's the first time was welcoming and accepting. Do you think people being afraid of you is them welcoming and accepting you?
Apparently.
When a white lady jumps out of the elevator, he must be like, oh, she loves me.
Yeah, that's right, bitch. Get out of my elevator.
When he sees a white person lock the door on the freeway at 60 miles an hour, he's like, oh, that's one love, baby.
That's right, bitch. You locked that door.
Oh, sacred, not scared. Am I reading it wrong? Oh, it does say sacred. My bad. I take back everything I just said, except for it was funny.
Yeah. Well, that's what really matters here. We are funny.
In all seriousness, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to just close your eyes for a minute. Imagine you are sitting there at dinner. You're eating a TV dinner with your favorite Salisbury steak. I want Salisbury steak now.
I have Salisbury steak in my mini fridge.
I haven't had Salisbury steak in a while. I really like it.
You're not poor enough anymore. That's your problem.
I'd like me some Salisbury steak. Anyway, you're eating some Salisbury steak, maybe watching some Wheel of Fortune. I don't know what's on the TV anymore. You're watching Wheel of Fortune, and suddenly an elf pops up in your fucking living room. How would you react? And I mean this for Latinos, white people, Joe Rogan, I'm looking at you, and black people. You are invading these people's space, these elves' space. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be racist there. No, you need to stop it. This is breaking and entering, and they're going to shoot you one day, and I'm going to be on their side.
Look, the elves were always considered to be, because they're fae folk, you showed respect because they had ways of messing with you. There's a ton of stories and fables about paying respect to them and thanking them for things and how to do it properly. Uh, the Celts were real big on that, but you don't mess with them because they will find. They're like the intelligence community; they will fuck you over. This is really, really dangerous advice they're giving here.
As much as the first trip was welcoming and accepting, the second trip was pushing me away, and I felt a strong sense of no. Well, what does no mean, Jack?
No means no.
Did you go back a third time? Because if you did, that's rape. That's elf rape.
Yeah, don't rape the elves. They don't like that. They have magic powers. Why are you fucking with the elves?
How many elves has Joe Rogan raped?
I don't want to know because they're going to blame all humans for that shit.
See, rape jokes can be funny. My friend said that the elves were making a machine and they turned around and saw him and they said, "Hey, look, the N-word is back." Another. How did they learn the N-word?
You know, some white dude was over there like, "Hey guys, this is be funny, trust me."
The elves knew the N-bomb. That is amazing.
I blame fraternity culture for that.
The elves knew a bastardization of the Latin word for black.
Yes. Like
That is amazing. They're pretty advanced.
Well, they do build machines to spy back on us, apparently.
The most chilling experience reported so far involves the powerful imagery of the slain Emmett Till.
Yeah.
They're bringing that poor young man into this.
You know they are.
It was funny until now. Now I'm disgusted.
I was disgusted before, but it's still funny because these people are tards.
I was surrounded by the elves, and they all started chanting Emmett Till, the trip reported. I later learned that Emmett Till was a black man. Bullshit. You knew Emmett Till's name. Stop it. You know, I can enjoy the fun, but this is too far. Where are we?
Thing. People like this always cross the line.
I later learned that Emmett Till was a black man accused of harassing a white girl in the 50s. I'd never heard the story before, being a black man who grew up in a white school district. That's weird. I'm a white guy who grew up in a white school district and heard the name Emmett Till.
Oh, we all heard the name Emmett Till. And Rosa Parks and half a dozen other people that did got murdered or did something like not moving out of their seat.
Thank you, Frosted Glass. What is Elvish for friend? The N-word. Door opens. Maybe that's it. Maybe they were saying friend. Where are we? Being a black man who grew up in a white school district. Then the elves started to rush me, and they all picked me up and started chanting the N-word while carrying me. The elves threw me down a black hole, and I continued to fall for around 10 minutes until my trip ended.
Well, it's got to be a black hole.
Because they're racist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They started chanting Emmett Till and the N-word. I'm impressed at their knowledge of our history.
Yeah, it's very specific.
Do you think they take DMT to come over here to learn how to be racist?
Though they do TMD. Because it's backwards or something. I don't know. This is some kooky D&D shit here.
Anti-black spiritual warfare. I read the first sentence of this, and I don't know if I can make it through without laughing. One possible explanation for the racist incidents while taking DMT is that the occurrence of racist DMT entities isn't merely accidental or coincidental.
That's white people's fault.
No, It's their own brain turning on them. You
Nope.
don't
Nope. It's got to be somebody else's fault.
considering the Latinx origin of DMT is not completely outside the realm of possibilities that these racist entities are extensions of conflicts happening in the everyday realm. A sort of spiritual turf war going on between Black and Latino communities. Hey, at least we honkies aren't involved this time. Latino
That would be where you're wrong. It's always cracker fault.
Latinos, stop teaching the elves to be mean to Black people. That's not nice.
Well, they're white adjacent, so
This is the inevitable and direct result of white supremacy.
of course it is.
We can definitely say this because it's something that happens not only in the realm of the spiritual. Stop saying taking DMT is spiritual. You're talking drug hallucination is not spiritual.
You don't know. You don't
I
even
do.
know.
I do.
No, you don't know. You're just saying stuff.
But also the realm of the physical. White men take all of the resources and land, leaving the Latinos and Black community to fight amongst themselves for the scraps.
Yeah, stop it.
Can somebody remind me what color people are south of the border? In her little paradigm of white, Latino, and Black, everything south of the U.S. border is what?
White adjacent.
No.
European adjacent.
Ideally, both groups would band together to fight against their oppressor. I hope they start with you. But that's not the case as long as the waters are muddied and we all fight each other. Still, let's not discount the fact that some Latino men are willing militants in the fight for white supremacy. She's talking about Fuentes. Oh, fuck. Just like some of the recent shootings in the U.S. committed by Latino men. What? Latino guys shooting people is white supremacy?
Clearly.
Dear Christ, this bitch is insane. Yes, Latino men have many intersecting oppressions of their own, but they still favored in the patriarchal white supremacist system over Black folks who are at the very bottom. Is that true? How many Latino presidents have there been in the United States?
Taft.
Another possible explanation for the
Just
racist.
ignoring that one,
I'm just
aren't you?
ignoring it. Racist DMT experience is that some Black folks, specifically the type of Black people who are male and would watch someone like Joe Rogan, are just subconsciously racist against fellow Black people. All right.
So, Black people in the audience, I know we have a few of you for some reason. Thank you, first of all, for watching the show and putting up with us. But also, do you have these negative encounters with DMT aliens? And do you blame Joe Rogan? And which Latinos are trying to? I have so many questions, Monkey. This is an Elvish country.
If we take everything she said so far, right? A Black man goes into the spiritual realm.
Yes.
And elves chant Emmett Till and the N-bomb at her because Black people who watch Joe Rogan have been in the spiritual realm and told them to do so. That's one of the possible explanations she just put forward.
Yeah, I mean,
it's even dumber saying it out loud. In my head, it was hurting, and then saying those words. Black people who watch Joe Rogan are teaching spiritual elves that you only see on a what was the word? Echinacea? No. DMT trip. Black people who watch Joe Rogan are teaching elves that you see on a DMT trip to be horribly racist and bring up Emmett Till.
Yeah, I mean, she
You wrote
made it
it down.
sound so much fancier than that, but when you shrink it down to the basic bones of it, like you just did, I mean, it sounds silly, but yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Just like the Germans Nazified the Gremlins to sabotage Allied ships. And it wasn't until they were deprogrammed that Allied airplanes actually started working. They had to convince the Gremlins that no, the Nazis were the baddies.
The occurrence of these racist DMT. Please tell me this was written on April 1st and I just missed it.
No.
The occurrence of these racist DMT elves could be. How dare you call them DMT elves? You don't know that they call themselves that. That's kind of racist, really.
Well, they exist in the DMT realm, much like the Drow live in the Underdark.
But wait. We call it the DMT realm. They don't. We don't know what they could call it. Steve, for all we fucking know.
Yeah, but I mean, they're racist. What they think doesn't matter.
You are colonizing them by doing that.
Oh, that is true, but it's okay when they do it. No, see, what we need is a deprogramming, like a cult program. You know, when the cultists have to go through the deprogramming thing.
Oh shit.
We need that for elves. So we're gonna have to spend millions of dollars, probably in Ukraine, to set this program up.
The occurrence of these racist DMT elves could be the result of internalized depression felt by lonely black men and teenagers who are convinced by their racist white friends to consume racist media like Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson. The DMT entities then dance into their subconscious tune like blackface minstrel shows of old. Sweet tap dancing Christ.
I tell you, Frosted finds the hidden talent among crazy people. Like the analogies here are beautiful. And yes, Angela, first of all, have a good night. But yes, you did hear them actually say racist elves.
Yep. Are DMT beings AI?
No, they're in a separate reality. I don't know why people are messing with the elves. If the elves want to be racist, they have a right to be racist. They still have rights. Why are you oppressing the elves? Why don't you stop kicking in their door and nosing around their stuff? Just leave the elves alone. Though they're going to be happier, you're going to be happier. Just leave the elves alone. Stop bothering elves.
The idea that we're all living in a simulation is a fairly credible scientific theory at this point. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a bunch of people who saw the Matrix and said, that could be a theory. What is the credible scientific evidence of us living in a simulation?
There's been some studies done on that, but that's a longer conversation. They did find some particles that suggest we may be a shadow of the real universe, but it's a whole other thing. It's the mirror universe theory. It would take too long. It's an actual theory. There's no real evidence for it, but somebody saw a documentary on the holographic universe on like A&E, misunderstood the entire thing, and came up with this nonsense.
There's no scientific credibility to it.
Real quick, thank you, Evolved Potato. Did you know dark elves commit 53% of all magical assaults on the human world, despite making up only 13% of all elven society? They're a real menace. I was unaware of these statistics, but I don't trust Elminster and his racist Faerun nonsense. No, they never trust the surface dwellers. And thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that generous feminist donation. Never trust a knife here. Well, yeah, you can't trust a dwarf either. You drop a nickel, he's going to steal it. That's what dwarves do. They steal your money and make awesome weaponry.
Over on the Rumble, somebody really wants you and I to do DMT. I'm past, thanks. I'm straight.
I don't want to do DMT because I have control issues and I don't need to freak out and get found under some underpass screaming at random homeless people.
I'm not always comfortable in my mind now.
Yeah. Plus, we're pretty old at this point. I mean, I don't want to break anything on a bad trip.
Simulation theory suggests that the probability of our existence being derived from one of the billions of simulations running inside a physical universe is much higher than the probability of us being one of the physical intelligence in the root universe. I hate these people.
I think these people are quite delightful. They provide us with some of the greatest content ever. Thank you, Frosted.
The probability that we're actually real is not probable. That's what she just basically said.
Yep.
In
You
addition
are
to
in a giant computer program. You just didn't know it.
In addition to probability, there's also evidence that the universe around us doesn't really exist until we observe it. Oh my God.
Yeah, the judge said that's no excuse for looking in women's windows. So
I didn't think she existed till I saw her naked.
I heard she existed, Your Honor, but I couldn't prove it until I looked into her windows. It's just a dead spot. Just, that hadn't been made yet by the programmers of the universe. And that's how you get hit with a restraining order.
This is some college nonsense. Me and Polly got into an argument about this one over math. Because I pointed out math exists whether we discovered it or not. 2 + 2 is 2 or is 4, whether we know the words 2 + 2 = 4 or not. That's just a constant. It's like, no, you can't know that. No, it doesn't change. If you haven't seen it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. There are billions of people right now that I cannot see, Jack. They're all real.
No, they're not. Not till you see them. Because
people
they're just sitting on a hard drive somewhere.
There are 199 people on YouTube right now. Maybe 30 or 40 of them talk in chat. I guess all the other ones, they don't exist. Sorry, non-existing people out there.
I don't know. I'll ask Mr. House next time I'm in New Vegas.
There are a lot of similar theories, and you should do your own research on it. Look, it's a wonderful flight of fancy, and it can make for some great science fiction, but fiction is the important part there.
Eagle said he's not here.
I believe him.
I'm not real. I'm a product of your derangement. Well, get in line for native. The queue forms back into the right.
The point is that there's a possibility that reality as we know it isn't really reality. Can I just point out that she's saying this based on the notion of getting high off your ass, literally hallucinating and thinking it's real?
Yes.
Reality's not real because if you get really fucked up, you might hallucinate.
That's where fingers do all their finging. Rogue Thoughts in Schrodinger's chat.
If simulation theory is real, what does that make of DMT entities? Well, they wouldn't be real either. They'd be something
just a different aspect of the hologram then.
Of the simulation.
Yeah.
Or
the programmers, dun dun dun.
Are they part of the simulation too? I think the easiest explanation here is that the DMT entities are actually kind of like NPCs or robots, AI program. That's the easiest. So in our fake universe, when you take DMT, you go to a real place to talk to AI. It bothers me that this woman gets to vote. And not because she's a woman, but because I'm reading this. This explanation is likely the truth because we already know that AI programs are inherently racist.
Well, I also looking at this from a slightly different angle. Okay, if you're on a DMT trip, you are not physically there. It's more like astral projection, right?
Uh-huh.
So your soul is there, but your
No.
soul is not your body. So
Wait.
your body has melanin, your soul doesn't.
Wait. That black guy said they picked him up.
Oh, in like their car? I don't think that was DMT elves. I think you were just wandering in a sketch neighborhood.
They picked him up and threw him down a black hole, remember? He
Yeah,
fell for
which
10 minutes.
yeah, which was him getting robbed by a bunch of gangbangers and thrown in a sewer.
Jesus Christ. DMT being linked to AI isn't a novel concept I just came up with. There are numerous related anecdotes and theories circulating online. Oh my God. Well, there's your proof. Some crackpot online said it, so it must be true. Jack, I saw online that the Roman Empire was invented by the Spanish Inquisition, so I guess I have to just accept that now.
Yeah, that's science. It was a circus.
Circus and bread.
Oh, I forgot dangerous. Yeah, only black people have souls because they're plant people from outer space.
This really brings me to the conclusion that technology we see up there on DMT or even on the other psychedelics is essentially AI in its infancy stage. And we too, alongside with it, are in our infancy stage, emerging out of the womb of matter and into more of a liquid, malleable, loving reality. Why didn't we just kill all the hippies in the 60s?
Rules.
This sounds like some shit that you would see in a movie where some creepy professor in the 60s is saying this to some dumb college chick who's like, wow, you're so smart, as they're high off their ass.
This is the type of shit that 14-year-olds come up with the first time they smoke weed.
I know there's a lot of scary stories out there about AI, but this is the closest thing that seems to make sense to me. Then you're a fucking retard. That we both evolved together and that the digital nature of reality is birthed through matter over and over again. When there is no time, it is easier to see clearly. All right, I just want to remind you guys one more time. AI will not do anything that a human has not told it to do. They can't. It's impossible. If you don't believe me, ask an AI to do something that a human has told it not to.
Yeah, a couple things from chat. Rogue Thoughts, is this a stoner claptrap?
Yep.
And Eagle pointed out, this is the type of mentality that's running our country right now.
Yep.
Yeah, the fact this sort of thing is out there and not on some crazy conspiracy website. I mean, it is on Medium, but it's a much more accepted type of mentality than used to be. It should terrify us all.
DMT entities being AI programs would also further prove that we are living in a system of systemic racism.
Of course it would. Why wouldn't it?
The creators of the simulation literally created racist AI entities to torment Black folks, as if it wasn't enough that they created a world that is inherently racist in almost all aspects. Hey, sweetheart, what we do know scientifically, or as best we can right now, Jack, where did life start?
Eden?
No, not biblically. Scientifically.
Scientifically?
It's Africa.
Well, in theory.
Specifically sub-Saharan Africa, in Black Africa.
So I was going to go with somebody's vagina.
She wants us to believe that these people who created the simulation are so racist that they put Black people here first, and we had to evolve out of them. That makes sense to her.
Is she saying that Black people are throwbacks? That's pretty fucking racist.
Whatever the full truth of DMT elves really is, there They're not real. You're high.
No, the real monkey. You just can't see them because you're not on the DMT. Oh,
Africa was the tutorial zone. Stop it.
Wow. Wow. Oh, man.
Oh, fuck.
Thank you, Frosted Glass. On a completely unrelated note, I'd like to remind you that this is the same woman who wrote an article called "Yes, Medium is liberal because its target market is intellectuals."
Yep.
Anyway, didn't mean to interrupt. Keep going. Thank you, Frosted.
Frosted, she's the one that told us to burn trash in our house, right?
I believe she is, yeah.
She's the one that told us to sell everything you own and buy new stuff to fight inflation.
You know, like you do.
Whatever the full truth of DMT elves really is, I have just one piece of advice for those feeling adventurous enough to try DMT. Proceed with caution.
Yeah, because there's racist elves out there. I think this is negative elf propaganda. The elves did nothing wrong. Stop trying to paint them as racist. They probably heard a word and were repeating it, trying to communicate with you, and you're all mad because they're trying to communicate and they don't understand your language.
I just kind of feel like she's trying to bait Nick Fuentes into doing DMT.
I would pay money to watch that.
I don't understand.
He just keeps meowing and peeing himself.
Oh dear fuck. That's gonna have to wrap up tonight, guys. Sorry, that one went much longer than I expected it to, but that's fine. That was a fun one.
Ears
Dear
up, don't
Christ.
shoot.
That woman is such oh, she has one. Oh. In search of the perfect penis, how I get paid to look at dick pics. That's an actual story she wrote.
I mean, are you shocked?
It's time to break up with monogamy. This woman is a retard. She's an actual retard. All right. Aren't we in May?
Yes.
If you click on her link, her name in the story, and it takes you to where her stories are, this one doesn't show up. The last one that shows up is actually from March.
Well, it's a good thing it's archived.
That's weird. Well, no, I mean the first part of it we read. Maybe it's because it's a pay one; it doesn't show up there. I have no idea. It's just odd that it's not in the list.
Yeah, it's probably some like subscriber one.
Because I don't want her to go away. She's wonderful. She's like Rome Girl, but dumber.
A less educated Rome Girl. Wow.
How you get dumber than Rome Girl and without the weird sex appeal?
I don't know.
It just didn't post yet. It was from 6 days ago.
It might be one of those, like if you're a subscriber, you get the preview before everybody else.
Oh,
you could do that with like the memberships on YouTube.
I suppose so, but then that would mean Frosted is actually a member of this chick's
You think
channel.
Frosted's not following this woman? I mean,
oh, she's amazing. She's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that article was paid for by Big Dwarf. You're not wrong, Dangerous.
Do you think when they go over there, the elves refer to the black people as orcs?
I don't want to know. I don't know. It's also racist.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Sometimes it's just fun to go down those rabbit holes. Dear Christ. That is a blatantly racist article, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. And it's anti-elf propaganda.
The contribution of the black culture is drugs. You really want to? That's where you wanted to go with that?
Yeah.
Should we talk about the 94 crime bill when we have that discussion?
I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so kind to us, and we cannot thank you enough for all you do. Don't forget to tell your friends, your family, that bitch you hate. Get them here watching because it's always a fun time. Jack, anything you'd like to show this evening?
Yeah, I'll drop some links to some really cool videos. As always, thank you so much for all the support you guys give us. I'm having a bit of a stressful day, so that's about all I got.
I am not going to be doing any. I know I said I would be getting back to the game channel. We will, I promise. But I can barely use my left arm, and unfortunately, I need that for video gamings. I don't even know what I did to it. I've been racking my brain of some kind of trauma that I did to it, and all I can come up with is, "You're old, Frank."
Yeah, I pulled a
Fuck.
muscle in my index finger by pointing at something. So
It feels better than it did when I went to sleep. So hopefully, a few more hours, it'll be at least usable. But until then, slept on it funny. It's right at the side of my shoulder where the shoulder bone and the arm bone connect. It's the
Oh.
connecting area. I think I probably overdid it wrenching on something. That pipe wrench was heavy.
Yeah.
So I probably did something like that, but there was no massive trauma. Like I didn't fall into anything. I haven't fallen for a while. And I say that now I'm going to, hurt myself.
You're gonna fall into a vat of chocolate.
Oh, that would be actually, I'm not as big a chocolate eater as I was when I was little.
That makes it even worse. How you gonna get out?
I'm going to have to swim. Can you swim in chocolate?
I don't know. I think it's like quicksand.
Oh, that would suck. Hopefully
Yeah.
it's not too deep and I can just push up from the bottom.
I would hope so. But then they'll be
Anyway.
like, there's a chocolate golem coming out. It's a monster.
Yep, just oldness. Thank you, Guns and Water. I appreciate you backing me up on that. Asmongold has been threatened with a 30K bounty. Yeah, I saw that crazy bitch. Anyway, guys, take care of yourself, Jack. A pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
Holy shit, did we almost go 3 hours? That article went faster than I thought it would. Okay, longer than I thought it did. It went really fast. I like when we have fun ones like that.
Yeah, those are always classic.
Yeah, that one's much better than the ones that actually piss me off. I mean, bringing up Emmett Till is a little bit over the line, but that was just
half the
silliness.
shit she said in there was a little bit over the line.
Well, a lot of it was just silliness we can laugh at. That was just disrespectful. What that poor kid went through. Yeah.
That kid was tortured to death, but
hey, Joe Rogan's turning black people racist so they go make elves racist. Sure, why not? Ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to y'all next time. Take care now.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good night. I actually thought up a song last night to sing for you, and then I forgot.